Hey truckers, today we're seeing part 14 of From Enemies to Lovers, a hidden marriage story. Let's dive into the video. Sun Zhuang's father scoffed with a laugh. What? A fight? You'd better reconsider, seeing how your husband has such a skinny build. He might not be able to even take a punch from me. Ningxi glowered at him. While Lu Tingxiao was the type who looked slimmer when clothed and muscular if he took off his clothes, he was nothing like this man in front of her who looked like a big lump of disgusting flesh. The child's mother went along as well. Your husband sure is unlucky to marry someone without a brain like you. I think you guys should get a divorce as soon as possible. Ningxi looked at the time impatiently and said between gritted teeth, enough talking. Are we fighting or not? If not, Lu Tingxiao would be back soon. The child's father replied, of course. But can you make the decision for your man? What if he disagrees? Ningxi raised her eyebrows in question. Did I say that my man will be the one who'll fight you? Then, what about the fight? What are you playing at? Raged the man. EAD new chapter S on no/v/e/ln.com. Ningxi led little treasure to sit down nearby. My dear, close your eyes and count to 100 before opening them again. Little treasure was worried about his mother, but he trusted her and closed his eyes obediently. Ningxi kissed little treasure on his cheek, then she turned around and looked at the child's father defiantly. I mean, I'm fighting you. You. Ha 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 ha. The man guffawed as if he had just heard the world's best joke. The parents and teachers around were confused as well. Is this lady crazy? Who knows? What is she trying to do? Where's the security? Why aren't they here yet? Things are getting out of hand. Ningxi had no time to lose, so she taunted, well, I've been trained in Kung Fu ever since I was a child, Mr. Sunday. Are you afraid of me? If so, then apologize to my son and get lost. Stop wasting my time. Me? Afraid? Okay, everyone's witnessing this. I'm not bullying you, you're the one looking for trouble. The man was totally fired up and his ego was sky high. The onlookers looked at Ningxi as if she was mentally not right. Earlier, they were worried for her, but now, it seemed like she was not sane. Trained in Kung Fu since she was a child? With her cute looks, was it just some self-defense skills she had picked up? The man shrugged off his jacket and all his big muscles were flexing through his black tank top. Everyone else, back off. I'll not be responsible if I accidentally injure anyone. Everyone quickly backed away at his warning. The man got into his fighting stance, then he kept on shuffling his feet. To everyone watching, he seemed experienced in boxing. Please calm down, Madam Lu. You can't do this. Come back. What if you're hurt? How can I explain this to your husband? Mr. Sun, stop it, okay? We'll give you another big bear. The teacher tried to persuade the two adults and failed. Eventually, she put her effort into calling the security guards and contacting Lu Tingxiao. Get her, father. Beat her up, yelled the child. HAA, roared the man, launching into his attack. Everyone's hearts lurched in their throats. Ningxi did not move. Only after the man headed towards her did she use her injured leg as her support and pivoted her other foot to attack like an arrow. Bam! No one saw what actually happened, but in the flash of an eye, the man's huge body lay sprawled out on the floor, a bloody tooth clattering a short distance away from him. Everyone was speechless. She had executed a one-hit KO move. The moment Ningxi had kicked the child's father, Lu Tingxiao received the teacher's call, so he quickly returned. Just in time to see his wife almost kill a man, even though she had promised to wait for him obediently. Ningxu returned to Little Treasure and told him to open his eyes. It was true that her skills were not as good as they were before, to the point that she could not even defend herself against third senior sister's attacks, but it was still easy enough for her to handle someone without any real martial arts skills. She saw through his sloppy footwork and knew that his muscles were just for aesthetic purposes. From her knowledge, she also could guess that they were formed in a short period of time with the assistance of steroids. But the teachers and parents did not know all of these, so they were all shocked. "Ah, Little Red Riding Hood is so cool." The Little Red Riding Hood defeated the bald man. Everyone closed their open jaws as they heard the children cheering. Oh my God! She's so powerful. Just one kick from her made him fly away. Didn't you hear that she has trained since her childhood? Of course, she'd be stronger than him. I thought she was just kidding. Who knew she'd be this good? I was wondering how strong this mister could be, but he turned out to be just a show. One kick from a woman and down he went. Ha ha ha, you're right. That was so pleasing to watch. I bet he'll be embarrassed to show up at the school again. Dear, are you all right? You damned woman, you dared to beat my hubby up. Sun Zhuangzhuang's mother started to make a fuss. Oh, I'm just a weak little girl. How much strength could I have? We were just fooling around. Do you need to be this worked up? Ningxi acted innocent and purposely imitated her victimized tone. Don't you dare go away. I'm calling the police. I'm suing you for battery. Oh, what are you going to tell the police? That a little girl defeated your buff hubby with a kick? Do you think they'd believe you, or me? You. Looking at the pitiful state the man was in right now, the teachers were hiding their grins, but the parents totally lost any sense of coolness and they all gathered around Ningxi to ask her all sorts of questions. Madam Lu, you're really powerful. How did you become this good? Did you learn from the Shaolin Temple? You're really great. That was so satisfying. He totally deserved it. That's right. But we were all shocked just now and we were so worried for you. Wow, you're good. Is this how you make your husband obedient? Read latest chapters at n/velbi.co/m. Ningxi felt proud listening to all the praises being spouted out. She felt like she was some heroine who saved the people from evil forces. She did say earlier that she would beat the crap out of him. While she was enjoying her smug moment, she felt icicles piercing her from her back. She looked back at the entrance to see Lu Tingxiao's face as dark as the bottom of a burnt pot. That expression. She was doomed. He had definitely seen everything. Quickly, Ningxi gathered her skirts and went up to Lu Tingxiao. Dear, you're finally here, I'm really scared, he was bullying me. Everyone was speechless to see her actions. Where had their heroine gone to? Lu Tingxiao looked at the girl and narrowed his eyes. It's my fault. But I really did listen to you and I waited. I tried to hold back but he was asking for trouble, you can ask Little Treasure. Where did the obedient husband go? It seemed like the roles had been reversed. Little Treasure nodded in agreement to become his mother's witness. Lu Tingxiao stared at his son. He had promised to look after his mother, but now he was totally on her side. Lu Tingxiao realized he could not rely on his son anymore. As they were on their way back, Ningxi was troubled by the large bear prize. Ugh, did the teachers think about how the winner would bring this back when they decided to use this as the prize? With such a large size, it was impossible to fit in the car. Not even the car boot could accommodate it. Lu Tingxiao had an idea. Let's tie it on the top of the car. The three of them sat in the car and were on their way back with a large bear tied on top of the car. In the car. Don't be so reckless anymore. You should let a man handle these situations, all right? Lu Tingxiao nagged. He was afraid that she might repeat her actions, but he did not want to be too harsh on her. He felt like this was even harder than educating his own son. I know that you'll be able to solve it. It's just that I'm worried that little Treasure will be bullied in school. You may be able to settle it this time, but not every single time, so what I did earlier was to give everyone a warning. Also, I helped everyone remove a threat. I killed 2 birds with 1 stone. Ningxi announced, full of herself. Lu Tingxiao looked at her through the rear-view mirror. You sure you're not just itching to fight? How's that possible? Ningxi shook her head, looking a little guilty. Recently, she was really bored as she could not go anywhere due to her injured leg. When such a good opportunity arose, she could not let it get away. Looking at how little Treasure was worried about the bear by continuously peeking outside, Ningxi laughed. Don't worry, we tied it tightly, so it won't fall off. Little Treasure did not want to take his outfit off yet, and neither did Ningxi and Lu Tingxiao. They wanted to let him be happy, at least for a little while more. Ningxi almost chuckled to see Lu Tingxiao drive in a wolf suit. Right, Lu Tingxiao, do you want little Treasure to learn some self-defense skills? No matter how much we want to protect him, we can't always be by his side. Ningxi told Lu Tingxiao about what she thought. Lu Tingxiao had actually thought about it a long time ago, but nothing happened since little Treasure was not cooperating at all. Are you teaching? Ningxi shook her head quickly. Of course not. At most, I can only teach him some healthy exercises. We'd need an actual professional if little Treasure wants to learn. But, I can't think of anyone. Lu Tingxiao thought about it and gave her a name. Tang Lang. Ningxi was surprised to hear this name again. Tang Lang? Too many things had happened lately and she almost forgot an important question to ask. How did second senior brother end up working for Lu Tingxiao? Since Tang Lang was working for him already, did Lu Tingxiao already know all about her? Lu Tingxiao nodded. Is he still working for you? I've been longing to ask, how did you convince him to work for you? That's amazing. Recalling what had happened, she was still surprised as she did not expect she would reunite with second senior brother under such circumstances. Follow US stories at nvl/by/n.com. You can ask him when you see him. He's currently working under the Lu Corporation. Ningxi was shocked. What? He's in Lu Corporation? Then, what is he working as? Qing Feng arranged it for him. He should be in the security department. It's hard to imagine. That wild second senior brother would work as a security guard. However, hiring a master for little Treasure was not a small matter. She wanted to give it some more thought before deciding. Since second senior brother was an imperial now, she could ask him out for a chat anytime. Aside from little Treasure's matter, she had so much more to ask. At the entrance of her apartment. As the three of them got down from the car, Ningxi saw a familiar face walking towards the apartment and she yelled, "Hey! Lu Jingli!" Lu Jingli was humming to himself and was about to enter. He stopped and turned around when he heard his name being called. Lu Jingli's car keys fell on the floor and he quickly covered his eyes. Oh my God! What am I seeing? My eyes are going blind. A cute little Red Riding Hood was waving at him, along with 2 wolves beside her. Upon closer inspection, he saw that Little Red Riding Hood was Xiao Shishi, the small wolf was Little Treasure, and the big wolf was his brother. And there was a huge bear tied on top of the car behind them. What he saw was indescribable. Are you guys crazy? Lu Jingli still could not believe his eyes, especially when he saw his brother with fluffy hair, long ears, and a long tail on his back. Ningxi took off her red hood and rolled her eyes. Stop overreacting. Little Treasure's school was having a masquerade party, all right? New chapters will be fully updated at novl/bin.com. Huh. Party? Is this the parent-child event my brother mentioned? Even if it was a masquerade party, aren't you overdoing it? Can't you just draw some beard on your face? Ningxi threw him a look of disgust. What do you know? It's Little Treasure's first parent-child event. How can I not put in any effort? Lu Jingli looked at his brother with an incredulous expression. I'm impressed. You agreed to wear this? What if she went crazy and made you wear a maid's outfit? Ningxi's eyes shone as she began to imagine. The devil in a maid's outfit? Interesting. What's up with the huge bear? Ningxi patted his head. We were awarded with the most popular award. This is the prize. Cool, isn't it? Lu Jingli cried, please stop acting lovey-dovey in front of me, you guys are cruel. Please, no more. You just happen to be here. Why are you here anyway? Ningxi asked. Lu Jingli handed some documents to Lu Tingxiao and explained, I'm here for my brother. There are some documents that need his signature urgently. I knew that he'd be at your place, and since I couldn't reach him through the phone just now, here I am. Unable to reach through the phone? Must be because the teacher was crazily calling Lu Tingxiao just now. Lu Tingxiao opened his paws and signaled Lu Jingli to give him a pen to sign. Lu Jingli looked at the fluffy paws, and then at his brother's cute ears and tail. Without warning, he suddenly hugged him. Oh! You're so cute! There's no way my brother can be this cute. This is like a dream. Lu Tingxiao's expression darkened. He was planning to change the moment he reached home, but who'd have known that Lu Jingli would be here? Lu Tingxiao and Little Treasure went to change after they entered the apartment while Ningxi turned on her laptop to check for the latest update on the incident with Hu Hongda. Hu Hongda's latest post on Weibo was 3 hours ago, which was just a while after she had left the restaurant with Lu Tingxiao. He had announced organizing a press conference. How efficient! He was probably terrified of the devil. There were live feeds of the press conference online, it topped the headlines as the hottest topic going around. Ningxi clicked on the video to play it. Reporter, CEO Hu, is your Weibo posting true? Hu Hongda, yes. Reporter, then, why did you clarify after that? Hu Hongda, because I don't want to lie to my wife anymore, and I don't want to involve any innocent people. I'm really sorry for what I've done. I apologize to everyone. Of course, he dared not tell everyone that Lu Tingxiao had threatened him, so he found himself a more self-glorifying excuse. Unfortunately for him, this time, the public was not as forgiving. The number of shares of his Weibo post was rapidly rising and the comments section went crazy as well. Wow! What's going on now? Ningxi isn't the mistress? It's Fangya now? So, Hu Hongda framed Ningxi to protect Fangya. How despicable! I'm so confused. The plot twist happened all too quickly. Ningxi is innocent. She was blamed for doing nothing. He's going to just give her an apology? That's it? Ridiculous! Stop that, I don't want to lie anymore, crap. He was probably forced to clarify after someone found out. This man is the worst. Goddess Fong Fong must never forgive him again. Not that he deserved forgiveness the last time. I think Fangya is the worst culprit here. She's probably the one who gave him the idea. I heard that she was always against Ningxi. How evil of her. I felt sorry for Ningxi. Just because she's pretty, she's always being labeled as people's mistress. Find you chapters on nv/lbi.com. Ningxi had a bitter smile on her face. Was this incident a blessing in disguise? People would not believe in any rumors about her that easily next time. At the same time, just below Ningxi, in Ning Xuelua's apartment. Xuelua, save me, please save me. Fangya could only plead repeatedly. On Ning Xuelua's computer was the live feed of Hu Hongda's press conference playing. Xuelua's face twitches with irate anger. She was close to exploding. How was this possible? How? Ningxi was on the verge of being destroyed. How did this happen? Xiaoya, what have you done? Why is Hu Hongda suddenly doing this? This doesn't make any sense. Ning Xuelua demanded angrily. I don't know. I really don't know. I followed what you said. I sent Ming Fongfong a message, then I just waited at home. I thought they would finally get a divorce, but I suddenly saw his post on Weibo. He betrayed me. Then, Ling Zhizhi revealed the affair between us online. I tried to call him, but I haven't been getting through. Ning Xuelua's lips curled downwards. Something must have happened when he went to meet Ningxi. Maybe Ningxi seduced him and made him do that. Ning Xuelua replied impatiently, do you understand the impact of this matter? Hu Hongda has lost all his pride and dignity by hosting this press conference. No matter how powerful Ningxi is, she could never have made Hu Hongda do this. Then, why did he? Fangya was lost like a little lamb. Could Ming Fongfong have realized the truth and forced him to do so? Ning Xuelua thought about the possibility of it. Although the logic of such a situation was weak, Ning Xuelua could not think of anything else. Then, what should I do? Xuelua, you cannot leave me alone. I'm really done for. Ning Xuelua felt disgusted with her and wanted to abandon her right away, but she was afraid that Fangya might try to destroy her reputation in the aftermath. Since you're at this stage and you can't contact him, go straight to his house. Even if he doesn't care about you, his parents would not be so heartless. You're right. How could I not have thought of this? After all, I'm still bearing his child. His mother is crazy about wanting a grandchild. Fangya's eyes were full of hope. In the evening, at the entrance of the Hu residence. Madam, you can't leave. Fong, what are you doing? Let's talk this out. My dear, please don't leave me, please. Forgive me once again, I'll do whatever you want. Ming Fongfong looked at the man she once loved, and then at her mother-in-law whom she had been treating like her real mother. Mother, I'm not looking for trouble, I'm just really tired. I'm sorry, I've decided to divorce Hongda. Fong, are you only going to change your mind if I kneel down in front of you? Madam Elder Hu started to kneel. Ming Fongfong quickly stopped her. Mother, stop. I can't take this. Madam Elder Hu slapped Hu Hongda. Bastard, kneel down to Fong now. Hu Hongda knelt down instantly, his head hanging low. My dear, if you don't forgive me, then I'll kneel here forever. I've realized my mistake now. I can't live without you. Fong. Please give Hongda another chance. If he makes a mistake again, I'll not let him get away with it. Although she knew that they were acting desperate for the benefit of the company and that they urgently needed help from the Ming family, they had been married for so many years after all, and she could not let him go. At that moment, Ming Fongfong was struggling to decide. Mother, I. Phi DDEU up TS on N, O, V/E/LN, dot. Calm. Maybe after this incident, he would really change. He was the man she chose after all. Suddenly, a woman's voice called out from the back, Hongda. Ming Fongfong turned around, her face draining of all color. Fong Ye. Seeing how Ming Fongfong was about to change her mind and Fong Ye suddenly appearing, who Hongda really wanted to kill his mistress. He went up to her angrily and raised his hand, trembling in anger. Who let you come here? Fong Ye was not afraid at all as she stepped forward. Hit me! Hit me hard! Kill me along with the baby in my womb. I have nowhere to go now, I don't mind dying. I just feel sorry for my child. Our child, abandoned before it is even born. Abandoned by its own father. Hu Hongda glanced at Fong Ye's belly and he paused. Madame Elder Hu went up to her and held Fong Ye's hands in disbelief. What? She's your mistress? Hu Hongda looked crushed and he slowly nodded sadly. Madame Elder Hu stared at Fong Ye's swollen belly before she touched it. A pointy stomach, it must be a boy. Fong Ye beamed proudly. Hi auntie, I've been going to a private hospital for checkups and the doctor said it's a boy. Here's the report, look. It's a boy. Good. Madame Elder Hu looked at the report, her face instantly perking up. How far along are you now? About 4 months, Hu Hongda replied. What do you mean about? It is. You don't even remember what you did? Ming Fongfong, who had been sidelined, looked at the three of them silently, not knowing how to react. Madame Elder Hu finally remembered Ming Fongfong was still there, so she went up to her and gently said, Fongfong, don't you worry. You're my only daughter-in-law. I would never acknowledge this woman. Fong Ye almost wanted to kick up a fuss then and there, but she stopped herself. Madame Elder Hu looked really overjoyed about her baby. She did not believe for a second that they would just abandon her. Madame Elder Hu continued, but her baby is Hongda's child after all. Not having an heir is one of the worst things that could happen to a family. You've unable to bear a child for so many years. I'm really troubled as well since I wouldn't know how to explain this to our ancestors after I die. I've got a possible solution. This child will be born. Afterwards, you'll take care of him. We could just give this woman some money as her reward for helping our Hu family. Ming Fongfong stood there silently while holding her luggage. She was going to take care of the mistress's child? The mistress was helping the Hu family? Upstated T from N, 0/V/LBN/dot. Co/M. Fong Ye was thinking about the reward she might receive. Was it monetary? It would be best if she could enter the Hu family, but since the Hus needed the Mings, it was impossible for them to get a divorce now. Nevertheless, it would be great if she could get a hefty sum of money. However, the Hu family was on the brink of bankruptcy now. Were they able to afford the payout? Everything would be all right. Ming Fongfong was rich. She was doing her a favor by giving birth to a child. Plus, since Ming Fongfong was unable to bear a child, everything belonging to the Hus would eventually become her son's. Ming Fongfong looked at Hu Hongda rationally and asked, Hongda, what do you think? Seeing how calm she was, Hu Hongda felt that she was ready to accept this solution. I agree with Mother's suggestion. Weren't you looking for a surrogate mother? Now, the problem's solved. I don't want you to go through the pain of giving birth, my dear. Fangya piped up, although I will really miss my son and Hongda, I won't trouble Hongda. I will leave after I give birth. Ming Fong nodded. Good. Hu Hongda, Madam Elder Hu and Fangya were relieved to hear her approval. Fong, so you're agreeing to this arrangement? The next moment, a white car stopped right in front of the Hu residence. A chauffeur opened the door and took Ming Fong's luggage while greeting her jovially, Miss. Ming Fong handed her luggage over and got into the car without even looking back. Hu Hongda was dumbfounded. Dear, what are you doing? Ming Fong glanced at him and Fangya serenely. Both of you don't have to be so considerate of me. I'll grant you your wish. Chauffeur Zhang, let's go. Yes, miss. Ningxi gave Ling Zhizhi a call while scrolling through the comments online. Because she had to rush to the school earlier, she sent Ling Zhizhi a text that she had settled the matter and that the information that Ling Zhizhi had retrieved could now be published. Hello, Sis Zhizhi. Are you still busy? Did you see this press conference video already? I saw it. This matter should be all solved now, shouldn't it? Is there anything else? Yes, that's all. Ling Zhizhi sounded hesitant to say something. Ningxi, you. She was intrigued to know what Ningxi did to make Hu Hongda go out of his way to clarify to the public. Don't fret, Sis Zhizhi, I didn't do anything illegal or anything against my principles. I actually asked Lu Jingli for help, but I'm not sure what he actually did. Ningxi conveniently dropped Lu Jingli's name in the conversation. After all, he was made for these situations. Ling Zhizhi had expected her to look for Lu Jingli, but she was still a little worried. It was such a big scandal and the consequences to Hu Hongda were severe. He could not have gone to such lengths even if Lu Jingli himself handled this matter. Find updated evils on n/v/elben. co/m. Hu Hongda had lost all his pride and his company share prices were dropping drastically. During the press conference, Hu Hongda's attitude was questionable. He repeatedly clarified that he had no ties with Ningxi and he kept on apologizing to Ningxi on screen. She wondered how had Lu Jingli achieved all this. At that point, Ling Zhizhi's previous concern rose again. She knew that Ningxi and Lu Jingli had ties, but were they getting too close to each other? Lu Jingli scouted many other people personally as well, but he had never treated them as well as he did to Ningxi. If both of them developed that kind of relationship. Ah. As Ningxi was still talking to Ling Zhizhi, her body suddenly floated up and she was shocked. Ningxi, what's happened? Ling Zhizhi asked. Ningxi glared angrily at Lu Tingxiao who had just lifted her up suddenly. It's all right, I almost dropped my glass. All right, then I'll continue my work. We'll talk more in detail when we meet in my office. Okay, goodbye, Sis Zhizhi. Ningxi ended the call and snapped, Lu Tingxiao, what are you doing? Lu Tingxiao did not say anything. Instead, he held her in his arms and went straight towards the bed. Ningxi blinked at Lu Tingxiao. Big Bad Wolf, are you going to eat Little Red Riding Hood up? Lu Tingxiao glanced at her, then he put her on the bed and flipped her skirt up. Ningxi backed away and gasped, Hey! Lu Tingxiao, are you for real? This isn't good. Little Treasure is here. Lu Tingxiao looked at the cute girl with the puffy skirt still on her and drawled, So, it's okay if Little Treasure isn't here? Ugh. She had fallen into her own trap again. Lu Tingxiao continued to tug at her skirt and Ningxi panicked. Ignoring her efforts to struggle, Lu Tingxiao had already flipped her skirt up, exposing her wound on her thigh which had opened up and blood was soaking through the bandage. Ningxi cried. She is done for. Damn it! How did he find out about her wound? She had only used one leg to kick. Could he have X-ray vision? What a big mistake! She should have sought medical attention for her wound when she came back. Now, she had such an obvious telltale on her. Why is the wound bleeding? I didn't realize at all. I've been really careful today. I only used one leg to attack that guy. Could it have happened when I slipped on the snow? Ningxi decided to fake her innocence. T/his chapter is up.d by nvel bin.co/m. However, when she saw Lu Tingxiao's skepticism, it was apparent that he knew everything already. She gave up struggling and said in a small voice, "It's my fault." Lu Tingxiao looked at her blood-soaked bandage and frowned. "Where's your first aid kit?" Ningxi mumbled, "In the cupboard." Lu Tingxiao went to get the kit. He carefully removed her bandage and as expected, her wound had opened up. Although she had only used a leg when she fought, it did not mean that her other leg was not using any strength. On the contrary, the more force the attacking leg used, the supporting leg would contract even more. Under the circumstances, it was no surprise that her wound opened up. Lu Tingxiao thought she was all right as she was acting cheerful in front of everyone and the circumstances prohibited him from checking under her skirt, so he could only wait. When he checked, the wound had really opened up. Ningxi was putting her hands on her skirt to avoid an upskirt accident. She wore white knee-length socks with pretty lace around it. With her fair skin and the red blood, she emitted a strange, perverse kind of seduction. Ah! The moment the ointment was applied on her wound, Ningxi felt it sting but she did not say anything. She was too afraid to speak. Lu Tingxiao did not say anything, but his gesture became gentler. His fingers would sometimes brush against her skin and his back straightened rigidly. After he applied the ointment, Lu Tingxiao let out a sigh of relief as he took some new bandages. Adn commanded, "Lift your leg up." Oh! Ningxi cooperated obediently and lifted her leg. Lu Tingxiao carefully wrapped her wound up, looking as cold as ice during the whole process. Ningxi was a little anxious and she said quietly, "Boss, what are you thinking?" "Talk to me." Lu Tingxiao glanced at her as he was putting the first aid kit away. "I was thinking about breaking your other leg as well. Maybe you'd heal faster that way." She would finally stop since she would not be able to move. With one leg, she could still hop everywhere. Ningxi was so shocked that tears welled up in her eyes. "I think your idea is bad, you're too cruel." As expected from the devil. After he was done with her wound, Little Treasure came over and Ningxi lifted him up. "Little Bun! Your father scolded me." Little Treasure looked at Lu Tingxiao with a serious expression. She hurt herself when she fought today. Little Treasure turned to Ningxi with a serious look on his face. "Fine, it's my fault." Little Treasure looked down, feeling like he was also at fault. He realized that there would be times he should not listen to Mother. Lu Tingxiao looked at his son, guessing that Little Treasure was reflecting on himself. It was remarkable. It was snowing, the best kind of day to have steamboat. Sadly, she was wounded and spicy food was on the no-no list, so they decided on making a clear soup base. From washing the vegetables to preparing the soup, Lu Tingxiao handled everything while Ningxi just sat there quietly. Lu Tingxiao noticed her obedient behavior. "I will not do it again" was written all over her face, but he was not going to be easily fooled again. She always sounded genuine when she apologized, but every single time, she would just repeat it again. Right, little treasure, do you want mother to find a master to teach you how to kung fu? Ningxi asked for little treasure's opinion while they were eating. Little treasure tilted his head to the side. Kung fu? That's right. If someone bullies you, you can protect yourself. And you can protect me too. Ningxi explained. Little treasure nodded. Great. Ningxi patted little treasure's head. But it'll be tough and tiring. Promise me you'll not give up halfway. Little treasure nodded again with a determined face. He was not afraid of tough training. After getting little treasure's permission, Ningxi looked at Lu Tingxiao. So, I'll talk to Tang Lang when I'm free, all right? Okay. It was decided. Little treasure grew bigger during the time he was with her. Otherwise, she would not let him learn kung fu. For little treasure's sake, she had to do this. However reluctant she was, Ningxi had to let Lu Tingxiao bring little treasure home after dinner. She was getting busier lately and she had to go to work early in the morning, so it would be inconvenient for little treasure to stay with her. Fortunately, it was easy for her to see little treasure nowadays. Follow stories at n/velb/in.com. Ningxi sighed in relief when the both of them entered the car. Finally, the big bad wolf was leaving and she managed to avoid a calamity. As she was about to celebrate, the driver's door suddenly opened again and Lu Tingxiao walked towards her. Boss, did you forget something? Lu Tingxiao nodded. He swiftly grabbed her by her hips and kissed her. Stop. She felt pleasure and pain on her lips at the same time. Reacting, she covered her mouth and pulled away. Why did you bite me? Lu Tingxiao pointed his fingertips at her lower lip. This is your punishment. Ningxi was speechless. The calamity eventually happened anyway. Ningxi squinted her eyes as she pulled Lu Tingxiao closer by his neck and kissed him, surprising him immensely. She murmured, "If this is the punishment, are you trying to make me do it again?" Lu Tingxiao felt heat enveloping his body and he grabbed Ningxi even harder, growling, "Don't tempt me." Ningxi backed away, acting innocently as if she had not done anything to tempt him. "I'm just kidding. I won't do it again. Go now. Little treasure is waiting." Ningxi, get well soon, Lu Tingxiao told her before leaving. Ningxi watched the black car leave and thought about the devil's words. She felt like something was wrong. As if she would get eaten up once she healed. At Chang Li's office in Starlight Entertainment. Ning Xuelua tossed a stack of newspapers onto Chang Li's face. Trash! The newspaper headline screamed, "Secret revealed, Hu Hongda's cheating scandal, Ning Xuelua is the biggest winner." Hu Hongda's cheating scandal was announced 2 days ago, but the direction of the gossip had already shifted. Aside from the keyboard warriors and celebrity fans, there were still a lot of sane and smart people on the internet. The incident might have appeared normal, but after some research, it was not so simple after all. On the surface, due to Fang Ye's conflict with Ningxi, she had picked Ningxi as her target to frame, but if Ningxi's reputation was destroyed, the person who would benefit the most would be Ning Xuelua. Ningxi's popularity was rising quickly, becoming even more popular than the main actress, Ning Xuelua. Ning Xuelua's fans started messing with her, but in the end, Jiang Mai's fans fought back for Ningxi. Soon after, some unproven rumors about Ningxi being Hu Hongda's mistress started to circulate, then Hu Hongda spoke up Weibo personally. Was this series of incidents really a coincidence? Was Ningxi just unlucky? Could Fang Ye have been ordered by Ning Xuelua? They always seemed to be close to each other. Not only that, Ning Xuelua maintained a low profile for some time in hopes that people would forget the incident when she framed Ningxi, but it was all being brought up again and people started to suspect that the assistant involved at that time had been ordered by her. What are you doing? Why didn't you stop the news from spreading? Even then newspapers are writing about it. Ning Xuelua yelled angrily. You can't blame me. You were so confident and you even said that there would be no problem, so I didn't pay much attention. Who'd have known that things would turn out this way overnight? Of course, I'm confident there'll be no evidence. If I left any, do you think I'd be standing here yelling at you? The point is, their comments don't need any proof at all. Should I sue the newspapers for defamation? But they are careful with their words, surely they worded them ambiguously and we can't do anything about the comments online. Delete as many online posts as you can, just leave the published newspapers. Stop the other newspapers from publishing any more negative news about me. At the same time, Ningxi was bringing a big bouquet of beautiful balloons and flowers to the office. Ling Zhizhi was busy, so when she heard someone knocking on her door, she replied without even looking up, "Come in." Footsteps were heard, then a big bouquet of fresh mint-colored balloons and bright flowers were nudged right in front of her. Ling Zhizhi was surprised. What? Discover W stories on no/e/lbin.com. Ningxi smiled at her and gently said, "Sis Zhizhi, they are for you." Ling Zhizhi returned her a smile as well. Thank you. She forgot when was the last time she had received flowers. Her insomnia and fatigue went away the moment she saw the fresh flowers and the girl's lovely smile. Right, Sis Zhizhi, when I was looking through Weibo this morning, many people suspected that Hu Hongda's incident is related to Ning Xuelua. Even a few mainstream media sources reported it. Were you behind this? Actually, I thought about it before, but I have no evidence. Ling Zhizhi told her, not everything needs evidence. Netizens aren't fools. They just need some guidance and they'll know what happened. For incidents like these, happening once might be a coincidence. The second time might be an accident, but what do you think the netizens would think about the third time? No matter how well she handled it, she's surely got a hand in this. Ning Xuelua's kind and gentle public image will fade away slowly. If something similar happens in the future, the netizens will have our back. Ningxi squinted her eyes and set her mouth in a determined line. Karma! She deserves it. As Ling Zhizhi spoke, she opened her drawer. Right, there's something for you. What is this? Ningxi took a look at it and was surprised. A car key? The company just gave you one. The movie is airing soon and you'll be needing a car in this period of time. Wow. They gave me a BMW? And it was one of the high-end models, worth at least a few $1,000,000. This is a celebrity's reputation at stake. We can't have you looking too badly. Plus, you've been performing well and you got yourself 2 endorsements aside from your casting in the world. Thank you, Sis Zhizhi and Starlight Entertainment, I'll continue to work hard. Ningxi was over the moon about this unexpected news. Sis Zhizhi, the promotion for the movie is finished now. Is there any more work? I was about to tell you. At 8 p.m. tomorrow night, Noble will be having their new perfume conference at Imperial Night Hotel. Remember to be there on time. All right. Also, there's another matter. What is it? Follow you stories at n/VELB/in.com. I'm thinking if I should let Xiaotao stay with you, it's easier for her to take care of you that way. Ningxi's heart was throbbing with anxiety. It would be all over if Xiaotao saw her and Lu Tingxiao together. I think, it's fine. I'll be able to take care of myself. I'm actually used to staying alone and it might be inconvenient if another person stayed with me. All right then. Ling Zhizhi did not push further. Ningxi sighed in relief in her heart. As they were talking, someone knocked urgently on the door. Lei Ming came in hurriedly. Zhizhi, oh, Ningxi's here as well. Great. Have any of you seen Jiang Mai? Ningxi shook her head. Nope. Why? Ling Zhizhi replied, I haven't seen him. Lei Ming looked like doomsday had arrived for him. Mai's gone missing since yesterday. I can't contact him at all. Did he just hide somewhere and play his video games? Ningxi said. Lei Ming glanced at his watch. At first, that's what I thought, but today he's having a signing ceremony for an endorsement. A 10 million endorsement. I've been liaising with them for over 3 months, but I can't even contact him now. I'm going to die. Ningxi's mouth twitched. 10 million, that brat. How long until the ceremony? Ling Zhizhi asked. Only 2 hours left. Please. Help me. Where could he be? I've gone to the places he usually hangs out at. He wasn't there. Ningxi shrugged. Bro Ming, I'm afraid that I can't be of much help here. Surely you know all the places that I know. She got to know Jiang Mai overseas, so she did not know where he would usually be back here in China. Zhizhi, I know you're busy. Please. Help me. If this endorsement gets cancelled, then I better go and jump off the building, pleaded the big-sized Lei Ming with the most pitiful face. Ningxi could not bear seeing his mournful expression. Sis Zhizhi, could you help him? Ling Zhizhi stayed quiet for a while and said, I'm sorry, Bro Ming, but the thing is, I'm not sure where to find him either. As she finished her sentence, Lei Ming passed out. Ningxi and Ling Zhizhi stared in shock before they used all their strength to get Lei Ming propped up on the sofa. What now, sis Zhizhi? Ningxi anxiously asked. Struggle flashed in Ling Zhizhi's eyes. In the end, she commanded, you take care of Bro Ming and call the ambulance. I'll look for Jiang Mai. Okay. Ningxi nodded. After Ling Zhizhi left, Ningxi was about to call the ambulance, but Lei Ming suddenly sat up on the sofa. Ningxi was terrified. What? What's happening? Bro Ming, you mean you didn't actually pass out? Lei Ming looked at the entrance and nodded after he confirmed Ling Zhizhi had left. I was acting. If not, Zhizhi would never help me. Ningxi was speechless. Aren't you overdoing it? Read latest chapters at n/v/e/lbi.co/m. Lei Ming looked guiltily at her. I didn't want to do this as well, but that brat forced me to. I'm not sure what happened to him recently. He's been in a bad mood constantly, he chased away 3 assistants in a day, he's driving me crazy. As Lei Ming spoke, he looked at Ningxi, suspecting that the mood swings might be related to Ningxi, but Jiang Mai was not telling him anything. Ningxi did not notice Lei Ming's suspicions. Terrible! I suddenly realized that I'm so much better in comparison to Jiang Mai. Half an hour later, in a ruin somewhere in the outskirts. Ling Zhizhi teetered in her high heels through some rubbish dumps. To her utmost frustration, one of her heels broke. In addition to her sprained ankle after getting pushed by the security guard the day before, her foot was getting worse. Finally, she stopped in front of an abandoned bus. She knocked on the door while panting, but it was silent. There was no reply. She pushed the door lightly and it creaked open. The seats in the bus had been removed. It had been modified into a house with pure white rugs made of sheep wool spread on the floor. Ling Zhizhi took off her shoes and stepped onto the soft mat. She then pushed another door in the area open. As expected, Jiang Mai was lying on the bed, hugging a large, fluffy, white pillow in his sleep. A few empty bottles of beer were littered all over the floor. Sunlight streamed through a window above the bed, shining on the man's blonde hair and making him sparkle angelically. She remembered when Jiang Mai was adding the window, he had said that he would be able to see the stars when he lay down on the bed at night. Jiang Mai was a wild child at the time, preferring not to stay home. He had insisted on modifying an abandoned bus here into a house, and he would just go there at random times to think about life. Jiang Mai, Jiang Mai. Ling Zhizhi called his name a few times, but he was sound asleep and gave no reaction. Ling Zhizhi went closer to Jiang Mai's ears and whispered his name sharply. Jiang Mai woke up with a startle. What? Who said that Chen Xiaobai is more handsome than me? Are you blind? Jiang Mai, who had just woken up, frowned at Ling Zhizhi standing beside his bed. Why are you here? I was wondering who was it that woke me up this way. Jiang Mai was once the hottest star in the industry. His strongest rival was Chen Xiaobai, and they were often compared to each other. The last thing he wanted to hear was someone saying that Chen Xiaobai looked better than him. Even the slightest whisper of such a thing would wake him up from his dreams. Despite Chen Xiaobai retiring, he was still paranoid. Bro Ming has been looking for you since yesterday morning. It's roughly an hour before the signing ceremony and we're very far away from the venue. Assuming that traffic is clear today, you'll only have about half an hour left to make it, Ling Zhizhi told him urgently. All new Haptors NNV, Lbin. Com. Oh, so what now? Jiang Mai lay back on his bed, showing no signs of leaving. Bro Ming has been busy liaising for this event for the past 3 months. He's so worked up that he even passed out in my office just now. And? Ling Zhizhi was not fazed by Jiang Mai's annoying attitude. Had it been the old her, she would have yelled at him and cried tears of frustration already. Suddenly, Jiang Mai's phone rang. Hello, brother Mai. Why did you leave early last night? We're going out on the water today. Do you want to join us? Sang a girl's voice over the phone. Jiang Mai replied with a lazy tone, all right, I'll be there in an hour. He then started preparing himself. Ling Zhizhi looked at Jiang Mai, reminded of her past days. He had been like that in the past, selfish and arrogant, self-centered and disregarding everyone. What could have happened to make him act this way again? Jiang Mai was about to leave, but he stopped in his tracks. Ling Zhizhi had taken out her phone to call Ningxi. Hey, Ningxi! Jiang Mai's expression changed when he heard Ningxi's name. Without further thought, he grabbed Ling Zhizhi's phone and ended the call. Ling Zhizhi, what are you doing? Ling Zhizhi glared at him straight in the eye. I'm asking her if Bro Ming has woken up. What? What did you think I was trying to do? Jiang Mai's expression darkened and he returned her phone to her begrudgingly. I thought you were calling her to come over. What else could I have thought? Ling Zhizhi remained silent and looked at him solemnly. What are you staring at? Jiang Mai feeling the heebie-jeebies from her intense gaze. Jiang Mai, attend the signage ceremony now. Jiang Mai laughed at her. Getting braver now, aren't you? You dare to order me around? If not, I'll tell Ningxi that you like her. What? Jiang Mai's eyes widened in aghast. How dare you, Ling Zhizhi? Ling Zhizhi maintained her steady expression on him. Jiang Mai felt like he had been tricked, so he quickly denied, Are you dumb? Whoever said that I liked her? I heard it when you were talking in your sleep. Blood rushed to Jiang Mai's feet and he feebly stammered, You're lying, aren't you? I recorded it. How despicable, Ling Zhizhi. Jiang Mai quickly grabbed her phone to destroy the incriminating evidence. Much to his horror, Ling Zhizhi had already pressed the send button. Nonchalantly, she told him, "Actually, you didn't say anything in your sleep, but I've recorded down our conversation and sent it to my own email. It's futile to delete it from my phone now." Although Jiang Mai had not explicitly mentioned his liking towards Ningxi, his reaction had basically given him away. Although Jiang Mai had not explicitly mentioned his liking towards Ningxi, his reaction had basically given him away. As expected, she was right. Only a woman could change a man. The change in Jiang Mai was far too drastic after he returned from overseas. There were no other possibilities. "Ling Zhizhi, damn it!" Jiang Mai said in between clenched teeth. Their conversation was the ultimate evidence and was much more convincing than his sleep talk. Ling Zhizhi quickly picked out an outfit from his wardrobe and signaled to him to get changed. She then called Ningxi and informed her to tell Lei Ming that everything was settled after he woke up, that was. Jiang Mai thought she was about to tell Ningxi about his feelings, so he stripped himself almost instantly. "I'll change now." "Stop it!" Ling Zhizhi was speechless. Jiang Mai looked cockily at her. "How is it? My body looks much better than before, doesn't it? Too bad you resigned. Are you regretting now? Not everyone gets a chance like this. If you spout any more crap, I'll call her right now." "No." At Glory World Entertainment, Ningxi went up to the miserable Lei Ming to give him the good news after she had finished her call with Ling Zhizhi. "Bro Ming, stop being so miserable. Get up. Sis Zhizhi told me that it's all right now." She found Jiang Mai and managed to convince him to attend the signing ceremony. "Really? Are you lying to me?" Lei Ming perked up, clasping his palms together. "Why should I lie to you?" Sis Zhizhi said they are already on their way to the hotel. Explore Tati stories at no/l//bin.cm. That's great. I'm going to set up a mini shrine for her at home." Ningxi hid an amused smirk. "Since it's all settled now, I'll be on my way." "Okay." Now that Jiang Mai's matter was finally settled, Ningxi could not wait to see her new BMW. It was a black sporty BMW. Ningxi looked at the black car and fell absolutely in love with it, especially since it was a reward for her hard work. She really could not wait to get behind the wheel. Her wound was on her thigh, but it would be all right if she drove, wouldn't it? Ningxi could not help herself. She unlocked the car and got in, feeling a shiver of thrill run up her spine as she coaxed the engine to life. As Ningxi was leaving with her car, she passed by Liang Biqin and a few female artistes. "Isn't that Ningxi? Is that BMW hers?" asked one of them while looking at the direction Ningxi left. "Seems like it. My manager said the company gave it to her," another artiste replied, not bothering to conceal her envy and jealousy. "What? She's so new and they gave her a BMW? None of her work has even gone on air yet and she only got herself a measly game endorsement. Why is she getting such special treatment? Probably because she's famous these days. I thought Ningxi was surely going to get crushed during the Hu Hongda incident. Who knew that it would turn into a free promotion for her? And the world is airing soon. Looks like her popularity rating might be soaring in the near future." Liang Biqin sneered, "What do you know? People who rely on scandals and beauty are the worst kind of people. They are just slightly better than those always exposing their skin. She won't last long even if she gets popular." "You're right," everyone agreed. "Oh, right, I heard that Noble is going to hold a conference for their new product tomorrow night. Anyone received the invitation?" You're kidding me. Small fries like us would never get invited to events of such high caliber. I heard Noble specializes in providing for royalty. While they might not be as popular as Chanel, Tiffany, or Armani, Noble is far more classy. As they were discussing, Liang Biqin conveniently drew out an elegant invitation card from her handbag and casually asked, "Are you guys talking about this?" "Ah, that's the one. That's so cool." "Biqin, you're invited," one of the artistes gushed as she gazed longingly at the invitation card. "Ooh, this invitation card smells so good." As expected from Noble. They are so creative with their invitation card. Of course, they invited all the big shots from the entertainment and fashion industry. Now that Biqin's movie is getting better and better, her TV series is really rocketing in popularity as well. It's no surprise that she's invited. I'm so envious. I wish I could go as well. Me too. Liang Biqin carefully kept her invitation card and she looked at them almost pitifully. "I can't help you, but I can try and ask my cousin, who is close to the art director from Noble. She also happens to be the special guest for this event." "That's really great. Thank you so much, Biqin." Liang Biqin was satisfied with the elevation from their compliments and gratitude. "You're welcome, it's no big deal." On the way back home, Ningxi realized that she had some free time on her hand, so she wanted to meet second senior brother, Tang Lang. However, she remembered that Tang Lang's original number was not contactable anymore, thus she put on her Bluetooth earphone and called Lu Tingxiao. "Hey," rumbled the man's deep voice. "Boss, what's Tang Lang's mobile number? Send it to me, please. I'm free in the afternoon and I'll meet him then." "All right. By the way, the company gave me a car. It's a really cool black car." Ningxi excitedly shared the news with Lu Tingxiao. EAD new chapter S on no/v/e/ln.com. "You're driving?" Lu Tingxiao asked. "Yes. Focus on driving and be careful of your wound. I'll end the call now." Ningxi felt a little disappointed. "Boss, you're so cold to me. Aren't you going to give me a kiss? Stop playing around." "Okay, bye-bye." Ningxi ended the call. A few seconds later, her phone beeped. Should be Lu Tingxiao messaging her. Ningxi glanced and saw a forwarded phone number with a kiss emoji attached to the text. Ningxi giggled. The devil is so cute. Ningxi called second senior brother the moment she reached home. "Hello, second senior brother? Little junior sister. You finally remembered me," he whined in loneliness. "How would I know you're here? Are you working? When are you free? Can we meet up?" Ningxi asked. "Oh, no worries. I'm free right now. Your man just gave me the day off just now, saying that you're going to be meeting me." Ugh, he just had to be involved with them despite Tang Lang being a small security guard now. Okay. At a restaurant. "Hey, lady boss," called out a man while waving at her. The man still had his short brown hair as he put one hand in his pocket and he was wearing a security uniform. Ningxi almost choked on the water she was drinking when she saw Tang Lang's outfit. "How excited are you to see me?" teased the man, cozying himself into the seat opposite her. "Second senior brother, are you really working as a security guard at Lu Tingxiao's office?" Although she had already known about it, it was still a surprise to see him wearing a security uniform in person. "Yes." "Why? Didn't I tell you through the phone?" "Because of you, boss personally gave me half the day off." Tang Lang unconsciously touched his waist. Of course, it was not a gun, it was an electric baton. Second senior brother, what's up with you? Did you hit your head during the fight with first senior brother? Tang Ling looked at her, his grave eyes free of worldly desires. Commoners like you will never understand the feeling of wanting to become a commoner. Ningxi was speechless. LL new rise at N0V/LBI/.cm. Oh, little junior sister, I've been meaning to ask you. What's your relationship with Lu Tingxiao? Is it a one-night stand? A multiple-night stand? Or are you his mistress? Tang Ling asked with great interest. One-night stand? Multiple-night stand? He might as well say that they were friends with benefits. Ningxi was annoyed. Nonsense, we're in an actual, normal relationship. Oh my! Are you serious? Tang Ling was surprised. No wonder someone's been going crazy recently. Someone? Who are you talking about? Ningxi faltered. No one. Tang Ling brushed the topic aside and questioned, how long have you both been together? Ningxi counted on her fingers. It's been 3 days, including today. Then, you guys started your relationship in D.C? Tang Ling was even more astonished. Ningxi rolled her eyes at him. That's right. Haven't you heard that trials and challenges will reveal true love? Tang Ling was speechless this time. If that certain someone knew that he had become her best support this round, that certain someone was going to be so frustrated. Ningxi drummed her fingers on the table impatiently. It's my turn to ask you questions now. What do you want to know? Tang Ling raised his eyebrows. Why are you suddenly working for Lu Tingxiao? Everyone wants their needs to be fulfilled. Ningxi thought about it. It seemed like second senior brother needed Lu Tingxiao's help and they both had agreed to some terms. Ningxi did not ask about the specifics of their deal. Sometimes, it was better knowing less. Then, she straightforwardly announced, actually, I'm here on business today. Second senior brother, are you interested in a part-time job? Tang Ling's eyes shone with excitement. Oh, a part-time job? I'm interested. I'm short on cash now. Tang Yi closed all my old accounts. How ruthless of him. Ningxi exclaimed, he's already being very kind for not killing you. Tell me, what part-time job is it? Actually, no matter what it is, I'll do it as long as I get paid. Don't agree so soon. I want you to teach a 5-year-old boy kung fu. You have to seriously and genuinely teach him what you've got. Tang Ling brushed his bangs. A 5-year-old kid? That's quite difficult, isn't it? Whose kid is this? Important enough to have to ask me personally. Ningxi sipped her tea and simply said, my son. When did you give birth to a child? And he's 5 now? The most illogical thing is, can you even bear a child? Tang Ling was shocked. Ningxi had changed into a male outfit after she got back to avoid him overreacting from seeing her in a girl's outfit. But even if she was wearing a man's outfit, she was still a woman biologically. I'm a woman, all right? Why can't I bear a child? Ningxi erupted. Is he really your son? Ningxi rolled her eyes at him and huffed, Lu Tingxiao's son is my son, okay? Tang Ling clacked, I thought it was really your kid. Speaking of which, aren't you treating his son a bit too well? Mind your own business. Are you taking this job or not? Yes, as long as it pays, I'll do anything. It's decided then. You'll teach on the weekend because he has to go school on weekdays. There will be a 3 months probation period. I'll fire you if you're not doing a good job, Ningxi said seriously. Tsk tisk. Tang Lang shook his head. What is it? You've changed after you become someone's woman. My dear little junior sister is never coming back again. If even you can become a security guard, anything is possible. After chatting for some time, Ningxi suddenly remembered an important question to ask. Second senior brother, does Lu Tingxiao know about my past? And my relationship to you? Tang Lang sipped his tea and answered, probably. Ningxi sighed in relief after she heard his reply. Actually, Lu Tingxiao had already seen what happened at the arsenal in Philadelphia, so it did not really matter if he knew or not. As Ningxi was thinking to herself, Tang Lang spoke up, aside from that certain someone, I didn't expect Lu Tingxiao to have such weird taste in women. Ningxi narrowed her eyes at him. Hey! What do you mean? How am I weird? Isn't liking you weird enough? Fine, it was weird. At Regal Riviera Hotel. As she reached home, Ningxi saw a man with sunglasses and a face mask squatting in front of her apartment. Blondie? Why are you here? Where have you been? I'm almost frozen to death. Quickly open the door. Chiang Mai urged. It really was him. Ningxi took her keys out and opened the door, then she poured him a glass of hot water. Did you just come from the signing ceremony? Chiang Mai mumbled. Why are you suddenly here? I thought you're never talking to me anymore. Ningxi raised her eyebrows teasingly. Chiang Mai fumed, you yourself said that you'll never settle down for any man. Ah, love just came like a hurricane. Chiang Mai suppressed his urge to punch her as he took a deep breath. I'm here to tell you that, if Ling Zhizhi were to tell you anything about me, do not believe her. What is she going to tell me? No matter what she says, just don't believe her. Chiang Mai huffed impatiently, putting his face mask back on. I'm leaving. Ugh. Ningxi was speechless. He came all the way here just to tell her something mysterious. The night after, at Imperial Night Hotel. One of the world's top luxury brands, Noble, was about to start their product launch and would be announcing their official presence in China's market. Among those attending the event was the new mysterious female protagonist in their adverts, the current top perfumer in the industry, Glenn Christa, and the director who had directed Red and Black and Wind, Noble's art director, Cook Bryan. Local famous perfumer, Bai Qiangwei, as well as hot celebrities from the entertainment industry, Su Yimou and Song Lin, were also seen posing for the cameras. Many big shots were out and about that night for Noble. Su Yimou matched the theme of the day and wore a dress with a Garden of Eden sort of vibe. It had flowery patterns all over it, making her look mysterious and elegant. Sis Yimou, you look really beautiful today. Nonsense, Yimou is beautiful every day. It's all thanks to Sis Yimou that we get to be here today. A few artistes were fawning all over Yimou. You're welcome. We're all colleagues, Su Yimou replied graciously. As they were chatting, someone asked, oh, do you guys know who's the ambassador for Noble's new product? They've been really secretive about it. No one in the industry knows who it is. How mysterious! What's so secretive about it? Isn't it Li Yueling? Liang Biqin acted as if she knew all about it already. Li Yueling? Why is it someone from Starlight? Didn't anyone from Glory World audition? Sis Yimou is bound by some other contract, so why didn't you try it out, Biqin? Liang Biqin only managed an awkward, forced smile. She had gone for the audition but was rejected in the initial round. The person realized that she had said something wrong, so she followed up, you must have been busy with your movie at that time. It's unfortunate that you had no time. Liang Bichin's expression softened. I was too busy at the time, so I didn't enter the auditions. Secretly, she was relieved that Noble's audition process was classified, so no one knew if she had even entered it or not. As they were talking to each other, they saw two familiar people enter. Isn't that Ning Shi and Ling Zhizhi? Why are they here? That's obvious. Ling Zhizhi couldn't stand Ning Shi having such bad taste, so she brought her here to teach her what's classy. Ah. It's Director Cook. Their attention shifted to Noble's art director, Cook, who had suddenly appeared. He's looking in our direction. He's coming over. Liang Bichin was excited as well, but she acted calmly. Stop making a fuss out of it. My cousin is on good terms with Director Cook. Su Yimo stood up and greeted him. It's been some time, Mr. Cook. La test novls on n vel/co. Cook shook her hands, smiling. We meet again, Ms. Su. Thank you for you and your friend's support. You're welcome. The artistes around her looked envious seeing how close Su Yimo was with Director Cook. Liang Bichin was feeling proud of her cousin. I'm a little busy today, we'll talk again soon. Cook looked around anxiously and after a few exchanges of pleasantries, he excused himself from Su Yimo. Hey! My dear Shi! We finally meet again. Cook was polite and reserved when talking to Su Yimo, but his attitude changed when he saw Ning Shi. Almost immediately, his tone turned passionate and he gave her a big hug the moment he saw her. Ning Shi had stayed in America for 4 years, so she was used to their way of greeting people. Returning his hug, she exclaimed, "Long time no see." Oh, my dear, why? Cook suddenly gaped at her in surprise. Ning Shi blinked at him. What is it? My dear, you look more beautiful than before. Cook enthused. Ning Shi laughed. Dear director, aren't you good at giving girls compliments? Cook looked at her genuinely. Oh, no, you really look more beautiful now. Wait, specifically, you've got more charisma. Tell me, are you in love? Ning Shi was floored. What was happening? Did this guy have some special eyes? Director Cook, you're really good with jokes. Ning Shi carefully glanced at Ling Zhizhi, casually making up an excuse. Cook did not press further on her love life and Ling Zhizhi did not notice anything as well. Then, I'll see you later, sweetie. I've got a strong hunch that everyone will be surprised by you. See you later, thank you. Su Yimo and Liang Bichin could not hear what their conversation was about, but Cook and Ning Shi's intimacy was apparent. Su Yimo's expression darkened. Liang Bichin was upset as well. Why is that woman so close to Director Cook? Seems like they're a little too close, suggested one of the female artistes. Liang Bichin sneered, I was wondering how she got invited. Ling Zhizhi could not have possibly gotten her an invitation card, this witch, she's getting better and better with men. Su Yimo glared at her annoyedly. Stop talking nonsense. Don't forget what I told you. Her cousin was too impulsive and was unable to control her emotions well. Everyone in the industry knew that she was Su Yimo's cousin, so whatever she said might indirectly affect Su Yimo's reputation. I'm sorry, I just couldn't stand her irritating vibes. Liang Bichin mumbled. Sis Yimo, you're just too nice. I wouldn't be able to stand always getting compared to her. Exactly. Moments later, the conference started. Noble's founder gave a brief introduction to the core idea of their latest product and their future marketing plans. Then, with Su Yimo taking the lead, the big shots from the entertainment industry started voicing out their opinions. In response to an interview, Suyimo expressed, "I've always liked Noble's products. I'm impressed by their creativity and I'm really honored to be invited to this conference." Yimo, I heard Director Cook wanted you to be the ambassador initially, but unfortunately, you're unable to comply due to your contract with Chanel. Is that true? Asked a journalist. Suyimo smiled. That's unfortunate indeed. The journalist pointed his mic at Director Cook and asked, Director Cook must have felt disappointed as well. Cook replied immediately, "Not at all, it's my luck." This could be described as a blessing disguised as a misfortune. I'm really satisfied with my ambassador this time around. She's amazing. Cook's words made the situation slightly awkward. The journalist was sweating with frayed nerves. This foreigner was too straightforward. Although he meant those words genuinely, it was not very appropriate, especially in front of Suyimo. Suyimo smiled at him. To be able to impress Director Cook, this must be a marvelous artiste. Director Cook nodded confidently. Indeed, she is. Suyimo's generosity placated any awkwardness. The crowd became even more interested in this new ambassador that they were going to announce. Was Cook exaggerating it for the brand, or was the ambassador really that amazing? The latter might be true, since Noble was such a high-class brand, their ambassador could actually be as extraordinary as Cook claimed. The launch continued with the staff distributing their latest perfume sample to the guests. Noble perfume originated 200 years ago and was inherited through the generations. With our very own unique formula, we adopted the ancient technique of perfume distillation and have selected the best ingredients under strict quality checks. Our new perfume this time uses roses from the Rose Valley in Bulgaria, jasmines from Florence, tuberoses from India, vetivers from Haiti, ylang ylang from Madagascar. Everyone took a sniff of the deep and aromatic sample strips, instantly being teleported into an old, luxurious palace, exhibiting elegance. As if spurred on by the presentation and everyone's praises, the large screen at the front of everyone lit up. The screen displayed a gloomy sky, dark with stormy clouds, then the view cut through the clouds and the ancient Chinan street in China appeared. There was a young girl in soiled clothes and messy hair, her face smudged with dirt beyond recognition. At that point, the guests and journalists were all surprised. Am I seeing something wrong? Is this really the advertisement Noble's renowned director produced? Isn't Noble's main theme supposed to be classy? That's right. Why is the main character playing a beggar? A pair of Toll Palace guards passed by swiftly on their horses, not noticing the young girl on the street. The crowds were confused, they had no idea what was going to happen next. The ambassador didn't even appear. Her face was all covered up. How can we identify her? Wouldn't the ambassador have a hard time shooting this? All new Haptors NNV, Lbin.com. Could the beggar be just a supporting character? Maybe the main character hasn't appeared yet. As everyone voiced their suspicions and theories, the screen panned out to the trees by the road and the sound effects of the wind blowing whooshed through the room. Leaves fell from the trees, rustling in the wind. The clip-clops of the horses came closer as the guards who had left earlier returned and stopped right in front of the young girl. The leading general jumped off his horse, kneeling on one knee to the young girl. Quickly, all the other soldiers got off their horses and bowed. Next, the camera focused in on the girl's face. Her hair fluttered lightly in the breeze, mimicking the airiness that came with the spraying of fragrance. The girl's smudged face gazed into the lens indifferently with a pair of clear eyes, exuding a sense of innocent elegance. Next, the scene took the crowd from the streets of China and into a very luxurious palace. There was a silhouette of a woman's back in the scene, and she elegantly donned a gold silk dress with her hair combed into an exquisite bun. She took decorous footsteps and made her way one step at a time into the palace. At that moment, everyone finally understood the storyline. That beggar girl was actually a princess who had unexpectedly found herself among the common folks. Because the girl's clothes were tattered and her face dirty, the guards had not recognized her at first. At last, they noticed the girl's real identity when the elegance within her shone through despite her fallen appearance. Just as the crowd was gushing about the creativity of this advertisement, the screen cut into the next scene with part of the princess' face. Finally, the princess was about to be revealed and the crowd at the launch were excited in anticipation to find out who this enigmatic ambassador was. The glistening hairpin swayed between the slivers of her hair, and in that moment when the princess slowly looked up from under her eyelashes, the red applique on her forehead with that graceful, beautiful face made everyone gasp in amazement. Because they had the previous beggar's appearance as comparison, this scene was even more shocking for everyone. The ultimate shock was when everyone recognized who the girl was. Ningxi! It's Ningxi! The world's leading co-star, the actress who played Meng Chang'e, Ningxi. Too beautiful. I remember when I watched the trailer of The World. I was already so taken by her beauty. While some were pleasantly surprised, others were dumbfounded. The moment Ningxi's face clearly appeared, Su Yimo almost spilled her tea. It was actually Ningxi. How could this be? How could it be Ningxi? Liang Biqin stood up uncontrollably. She wanted to see clearly for herself as she mumbled in disbelief, "No way. How could it be Ningxi? Is there a mistake?" T/his chapter is up.d by NVEL, bin.co/m. Biqin, didn't you say it was Li Yueling? How could that woman Ningxi qualify for an ambassadorship of this rank? Albeit appearing for only a short second at the end of the entire advertisement, Ningxi left a strong impression on everyone. That was Ningxi. They definitely did not wrongly recognize her. After a short silence, there was a thunderous applause from the crowd. Spectacular! Too spectacular! It is Director Cook, after all. What an amazing idea! Even though there wasn't any dialogue in the entire clip, it conveyed a strong message to everyone. Elegance is a kind of aura that no street look can cover up. Even if the princess was fallen and became a beggar on the streets, she was still a princess. The elegance of her aura would not change despite her clothing and appearance. Too amazing! What's more marvelous is that the female protagonist only revealed her face for 1 second at the end, but the only thing that remained in my mind was the final second. Everyone remained in amazement until only the perfume's latest crystal bottle design and brand logo were left on the screen. Next, let us invite our newest ambassador, Ningxi. Welcome, Miss Ning. Introduced by the host so passionately, Ningxi, who had been sitting quietly in a corner where no one noticed, stood up slowly. Director Cook was unusually enthusiastic and had walked down the stage personally, bowing like a gentleman to Ningxi before offering his hand to help her on stage. Now, there was no room for further doubts. Noble's ambassador this time around was Ningxi, there was no mistake about that. This is so unexpected. Who knew that the secret ambassador is actually the actress who played Meng Chang'e, Miss Ning? The competition was very tight this time around, and I believe many excellent artistes participated in the audition. I wonder why Director Cook had chosen Ningxi. During the initial auditions, I saw that Meng Chang'e had the kind of elegance and pride that our brand needs. Cook answered proudly. Ningxi, could you tell us what you understand about fragrance? The reporter turned to Ningxi and asked. Fragrance is the most direct and most invasive scent on a person. A person's taste of their surroundings is enhanced through fragrance, and it will not go unnoticed. For a woman, men might not remember what you might have worn today, they might even forget how you look. But they will definitely remember how you smelt. People's memories of scent stay in their minds for a while. Ning Shi answered easily without having any stage fright or nervousness facing so many reporters and all the big shots of the industry in the same room. The press conference continued without any hiccups. Everyone's eyes were on Ning Shi. No one noticed that through the door in the back, two people had arrived late. Ning Xuelua looked slightly helplessly at Li Yueling, who had dragged her along to the event. Even though she had received the invitation, she naturally decided not to come to avoid feeling uncomfortable because she already knew that Ning Shi was the ambassador. She thought that Li Yueling would definitely not attend the function too. Who'd have known that she not only wanted to come but had also dragged her along? Xuelua, believe me, just watch. There will be something to watch. Li Yueling looked slyly at Ning Shi, who was getting all the attention on stage. That was hers. All those gasps and amazed stares should have been all hers, but it had been shamelessly snatched away by this woman. Get latest CHPTers on nvelbj/n.c/m. Ning Xuelua looked at Li Yueling's determined gaze and felt unassured. However, since Li Yueling wanted to mess with Ning Shi herself, she just followed her to take a seat and prepared to watch whatever unfolded before her. Ha! She did not even have to personally do anything to defeat Ning Shi. At that moment, Liang Biqin, who was fuming, had noticed Liang Biqin's arrival. Her eyes twinkled and she quickly turned to her to say softly, Li Yueling. You're here too. Li Yueling nodded slightly. She usually was not friendly towards Glory World's artiste, but she just let it be for reputation's sake. Besides, her attention had been drawn towards the stage at that moment and she did not have the mood to make small talk. Yet, Liang Biqin could not help but ask, aren't you Noble's ambassador? How did it change to be Ning Shi? Li Yueling frowned. Her expression was dark as she replied vaguely, at first, I thought I was the chosen one too, but, never mind. When she heard this, Liang Biqin and the female artistes around them felt like something was odd. Why did Li Yueling's words sound so weird? What did she mean when she said that she thought it was her too? Liang Biqin suddenly got excited at the prospect of some internal strife. The reporters were still going on with their question and answer session. Suddenly, a reporter asked harshly, as everyone knows, the competition for Noble's ambassadorship was very tight this time around. Based on those few girls whom I know had participated, they are all the industry's finest and most elite female artistes, even including movie stars like Fang Xiaowen and top artistes like Meng Shi. Why did director Cook choose a less than famous Ning Shi to be the ambassador based on one clip from the world? When they heard this question, everyone present had a stunned expression on their faces, their thoughts immediately straying towards the possibility of an ambiguous relationship. The reporter paused, then added, before this, I received insider information that the ambassadorship had been decided to be awarded to Starlight's Miss Li Yueling. Why did it suddenly change to Ning Shi? Was there some kind of an immoral exchange in between? The reporter's words were already very blatant, every word was aimed to accuse that Ning Shi had surpassed Li Yueling through unspoken rules. Instantly, the crowd started to buzz. Su Yimo, who had initially suppressed her annoyance, relaxed slightly. Liang Biqin looked excited and almost bounced in her seat. I knew it was like this. In the back seat, Li Yueling crossed her arms over her chest and looked at Ning Xuelua delightedly. It was obvious that she had arranged that reporter as a mole. Let's pose this question to Director Cook and Miss Ning Shi to answer all of us, the reporter craftily said towards Ning Shi. Everyone's lenses and eyes were focused on Ning Shi either out of excitement or out of the need for gossip. They attempted to catch her distressed and embarrassed emotions. Yet, facing such serious accusations in such a sudden situation, Ning Shi's expression had not budged. Instead, she took over the microphone and looked coldly towards the reporter who had instigated her and fearlessly said, You're right, I admit that the competition this time was indeed very intense. When I found out that I had passed through the initial selection from my manager, I was pleasantly surprised myself. To this reporter, I would like to ask, with such intense competition and my going through the normal audition to be selected, is there a causation effect? Do you think that because the competition was intense, I definitely shouldn't have gotten through the auditions? Get your Avrite ovals at no/v/e/lbn.com. Other than that, I wonder who you got such inside information from. Based on some feeble info, you accused me of such a serious action like immoral means. Do you think it's appropriate? If the person sitting here today wasn't me and was someone else, could I use such an unreasonable reason based on inside information to question them? Ningxi threw the 3 questions one after another, each one harsher than the previous. The reporter was rendered speechless. That reporter looked embarrassed, then said with an unyielding tone, "As a reporter, we have the right to question logically and discover the truth for the public. Besides, everyone saw your and director Cook's ambiguous intimacy earlier." Huh, ambiguous intimacy? It was just a normal hug between friends and colleagues, but you think that was ambiguous? Do you know the saying that the eyes see what the heart thinks? Are you executing your rights or are you using it to defame and slander? Ningxi asked. You're twisting the truth, the reporter said as he suddenly smiled cunningly, then he took out a stack of pictures from his bag to distribute among everyone present, including Ningxi and Cook. I have evidence. These pictures, how do you explain them? Ningxi looked at the pictures. They were some behind-the-scenes interaction from when she had shot the advertisement in Country M with Cook. However, the angle the photographer had taken the shot from was very peculiar. Cook was only emotionally patting her shoulder, but from that angle, it looked like they were hugging closely. In fact, some of the photos even looked like they were kissing. Instantly, all the guests and reporters present were agitated and they all looked at Ningxi in disgust. I thought the auditions would be very fair. Who knew a big shot like this would have scandals too? How embarrassing! At the same, when everyone was distracted, Ling Zhizhi had already quietly found the director's assistant backstage and whispered something into her ear before passing her a USB flash drive. The assistant nodded, then walked towards Cook, who was on stage. At that moment, Cook looked miserable when he heard what the assistant whispered to him. He hesitated, then looked at Ningxi and suddenly set his mouth in a determined line. He nodded at his assistant and solemnly skimmed the crowd before contemplating on his reply to the reporter. Originally, the auditions, including the process of our shoot, is confidential, but since everyone has such suspicions. Then, he signaled to the assistant who understood and immediately put the USB into the computer. Everyone thought that Cook had just been forced to disclose the audition process, so they instantly looked at the screen in excitement. The room on the screen was obviously the audition room and that girl seen in it was actually Li Yueling. Li Yueling wore an elegant vintage Chinese cheongsam while she sat there playing the guqin. Her entire person exuded a noble elegance, it was so perfect without any flaw to pick on. When they saw this, the public felt that the reporter's words rang true. Li Yueling's performance is spectacular. That was practically unsurpassable. Exactly. There's obviously some inside job going on here. Then, before the discussion stopped, Ningxi, who donned a gray and dull dress, walked in on the screen. The scene started with Cook's loud insults towards Ningxi, scolding her for her dressing which seemed disrespectful to them. Indeed. The original ambassador was supposed to be Li Yueling. Direction Cook hated Ningxi right from the start. How did he decide that she would be the ambassador later on? This is so obvious now. Definitely using some scandalous methods. The crowd looked at each other, thinking the same thoughts without explicitly voicing them out. However, the next scene shocked everyone speechless, just as it did to Cook in the audition room. Ningxi sat at ease in front of the guqin and unexpectedly played an extremely difficult, Wanglin San. I believe that true elegance and nobility is not just by donning the name of luxurious brands. It is neither to show off the expensive accessories on hand nor to boast about your own beauty and educational qualifications. True nobility is, even if dressed in ragged clothes and messy hair, not being able to conceal the aristocratic charisma within. Until Ningxi's definition of true nobility was spoken out loud, everyone offstage had yet to return to their senses. Simply amazing. Noble's advertisement's spectacular creativity had unexpectedly originated from Ningxi's audition. Still, the screenplay had not yet ended. The screen continued to play the highlights from the advertisement shoot. Everyone could see that the pictures the reporter had shown them had been intentionally shot from an ambiguous angle. In reality, the two of them were interacting normally without any hanky-panky. The behind-the-scenes video proved that there were no ambiguities. Finally, an audition form was zoomed in on the final scene. On the sheet, all those who had signed up to participate had their names on it, and beside it was the list for those who were shortlisted. Get latest CHPTers on NVE/LBJ/N.C/M. The list had both Liang Biqin and Ning Xuelua's names. Liang Biqin was initially only slightly disappointed that she did not ruin Ningxi. To her utmost shock, she saw her name on the list. At the same time, the female artistes next to Liang Biqin looked at her in surprise. She had signed up after all but had been eliminated. However, for the sake of saving her face, she had said she did not even audition. Of course, there was another person who looked worse off compared to Liang Biqin. Li Yueling never would have thought that Ningxi had done such extensive preparations to counter any scandals and that Cook would expose the audition process for her sake. Just as she was almost stomping her feet in frustration about this, she saw the name list at the end. On the name list was Ning Xuelua. Didn't Ning Xuelua say that she had not signed up at all because she didn't want to fight with her and had intentionally let her go ahead? Xuelua, you registered? I thought you said you didn't. It never occurred to Ning Xuelua that her biggest worry would happen. She put on a miserable face as she pretended to say, I'm curious too. I did tell Sis Chang that I didn't want to register, but maybe she had too many things on hand and missed out on my message. Is that so? Li Yueling was slightly doubtful. However, even if Ning Xuelua claimed so, it could not change the fact that she had indeed been eliminated in the first round. Initially, she had thought the charismatic Ning Xuelua would be her biggest competitor. Who'd have guessed that she had actually been eliminated in the first round? Now, Noble's launch press conference had come to an end. The reporters surrounded Ning Xuelua in a flurry. Because Ning Xuelua was the most famous name on the eliminated name list, all the reporters naturally targeted her. Oh, Xuelua, you participated in the Noble auditions too, but you were eliminated and you even lost to your junior. How do you feel about this? EUW levels up Tez on NOV/L/BI.com. Xuelua, Noble's theme is elegance. Does this mean that Director Cook thinks you're not suitable for their brand's theme and thus, you do not have an elegant charisma? Ning Xuelua stared at Ningxi, who was being heaped with praises not too far away, and stabbed her fingernails into her palm while pretending to maintain her composure, and answered the reporters, for the auditions this time, I had no intentions to join and I did not know about it either. It was probably my manager who had casually helped me register, so I'm not too sure what happened either, sorry. She was obviously trying to imply she had simply participated without any care or preparation at all. However, how many of them would believe her words was another story. Liang Biqin was secretly relieved that Ning Xuelua had been swarmed by the reporters, distracting them away from her. She was afraid that she would be targeted, so she quickly ran off sneakily. Li Yueling was such a burden. It was a good thing that even Ning Xuelua had been eliminated too, so that her being eliminated did not look too bad either. On the other end of the room, Ning Shi left with Ling Zhizhi after passionately bidding Director Cook farewell. In the car, Ning Shi happily hugged and kissed Ling Zhizhi's cheeks. "Sis Zhizhi, you're awesome. You actually prepared all of that beforehand." Ling Zhizhi smiled as she shrugged. "It was my backup plan. It's a good thing that you improvised well, so I could follow your reaction flow to execute all that. If your reaction had been slightly off, we could have handled it badly." Ning Shi laughed. "We are the best partners." Ling Zhizhi chuckled too. "Rest well when you get home. You still have to prepare for your new show next." Okay." When she got home, Ning Shi ate and cleaned herself up before lying down in bed comfortably. Just as she was engrossed in a book about film theories, there was a knock on her door. Who could it be at this hour? Ning Shi opened the door and saw Lu Tingxiao standing in front of her, wearing a black windbreaker and bringing in some cold air from the outside. Ning Shi instantly hugged him, overjoyed, and said, "Big boss, you're here." Then, she looked behind him before asking, "Eh? Where's little treasure?" Lu Tingxiao replied matter-of-factly with a poker face, "I didn't bring him." Why?" "It's not suitable for children," said Lu Tingxiao, before he hugged her by the waist and entered. Bam! The door closed with Ning Shi's back against the door and the man holding the curve of the base of her skull. They started a round of intense kisses. A devil that has been removed of its chains, is really passionate. Ning Shi had already changed into soft and warm fuzzy pajamas. Lu Tingxiao's hand lightly slipped through her gown, feathering her slim waist and finding its way up to envelope that tender curve. UW up Tez on NOV/L/BI.com. Because Lu Tingxiao's palm was still cold from the chilly air outside, Ning Shi's body involuntarily shuddered. She was not sure whether it was the cold or the sudden stimulation that caused her to react that way. Cold? Lu Tingxiao pulled his hand away immediately. In her fuzzy pajamas with her hair lazily tumbling in all the right places, she exuded a sense of lazy domestication, making her look so soft, warm and sweet that made him lose control bit by bit. Besides, today was the 4th day of their relationship. They had survived more than half of what people called that deadly 1 week. Those few days, he did not know how he had returned home each time. He was floating in between extreme happiness and despair. He had thought of many ways before to make her stay every time. He could not even bear to have her leave him for even 1 second, yet he had still chosen to go with her flow. As Ning Shi was snuggled in his embrace, she noticed that somewhere below his belly there was a stream of heat and she felt something hard. While her chest seemed to have the lingering imprints of the man's strength and his slightly rough hands, he could not help but blush. It was just a kiss and there was already a reaction? In fact, this was not the first time. Damn it, next time whoever said that Lu Tingxiao was not tempted by seduction would get slapped. Did today go smoothly? Lu Tingxiao asked, some seductive hoarseness in his tone. Ning Shi's little face beamed as she nodded. There were some slight bumps but we resolved them already. She noticed that Lu Tingxiao was controlling his breath as he hugged her, clearly trying to suppress his emotions. Ning Shi looked up from his chest and blinked to look at him, before weakly saying, the nurse already said that it's not good for your body to suppress it in, the nurse also said that you can resolve it without doing it, or else, I can help you? The moment she said, the little beast that Lu Tingxiao had suppressed with all his might, instantly sprung up at Ning Shi's words. Lu Tingxiao lay down and kissed the girl's forehead, his tone significantly calmer. There's no need. Why not? He was already so tense. Because I can't bear to. Can't bear to force her to do anything she did not want to do. Ning Shi sighed lightly, all right, actually, I previously might have been slightly defensive towards men, but, big boss. Just as the two were speaking, the doorbell suddenly rang. Ningxi looked outside through the peephole and instantly felt like a cat who had its tail stepped on, leaping. My God! Sis Gigi! Why would she come over at this hour? What to do? What to do? The doorbell kept ringing as Ningxi pushed Lu Tingxiao, trying to find a hiding place for him. She was super anxious. At last, she pushed him into the bathroom. However, she was still not assured and pulled the shower curtain for him to hide in the bathtub. When she saw the devil's face darken due to having his long legs and arms cramped inside the bathtub, Ningxi gave him a big kiss on the lips and caressed his handsome face. Sorry. You have to be miserable for a while, I'll be done really soon. The devil still looked very unhappy. Ningxi hardened her resolve and leaned over him to kiss him on the lips again. My dear, we're just dating but it feels like we're cheating. Don't you think it's very exciting? Lu Tingxiao's gaze darkened further as he pulled her head down to kiss her hard. This beast! Wasn't she being too confident about his self-restraint? Ningxi was panicked by the incessant doorbell ringing as she tousled the guy's hair to console him patiently. Okay, if we continue, I'll be exposed. No. Not here. Don't bite. Lu Tingxiao was panting slightly as he restrained himself from the impulse of leaving any marks on her. Coming. Ningxi called out as she whispered into Lu Tingxiao's ear, Be good, I'll come back to help you later. Lu Tingxiao stiffened immediately. Ningxi looked at him quietly with eyes as clear as a reflective lake. What I didn't finish saying earlier was that, big boss, despite all that, you're different, you're special. Then, without a care for whatever waves her words had caused in Lu Tingxiao's heart, she ran off to the living room to open the door for Ling Gigi. News tirais at n/vel/b/i/n.co. She looked around to see if she had left any traces of his presence as she poured a drink for Ling Gigi. Ling Gigi took the cup with a serious expression. Don't busy yourself. Sit down. I came over suddenly because I have something to tell you. Ningxi observed Ling Gigi's expression and asked, Bad news? Never mind, Ling Gigi paused, then said, Didn't you take fancy to a script the last time? Yeah. It's called I Only Like You. It's the one where the girl dresses up as a guy. What's wrong? Is there an issue? Ningxi asked quickly. Initially, there were still a few days of auditions for this show and the director also agreed to let you have a go earlier. But just now, I just received news that the other party has directly decided on Liang Biqin as the female lead. What? Ningxi frowned. Is it confirmed? Ling Gigi nodded. Yes, when I called to ask, they said that the contract has even been signed. Otherwise, I would definitely have helped you fight for it. So soon. Ningxi was very disappointed. It was like saving up enough money to buy a much-anticipated toy, yet just when she had saved up a piggy bank full of money, the toy had been bought by someone else with a $100 bill. At the same time at a certain bar in Imperial, happy vibes were all around. Thank you, Director Zheng and Producer Qian. Please take care of Biqin. Thank you, Director. Thank you, Producer Qian and thank you, Cousin. I will definitely work hard. Liang Biqin said emotionally. It's nothing. Miss Liang, you have the capabilities. We are just strengthening this alliance. Exactly. Besides, Goddess Su has helped us pull so many big-shot cameos. Our show will have one of the history's strongest artiste appearances and will definitely sell well. That's profit in the bank. Liang Biqin served the director some alcohol as she asked, I heard that Ling Gigi also contacted you. It seems like someone's interested to fight for this character too. Yes, they contacted me about half a month ago saying that they were very interested in our show. I just agreed to let Ningxi audition. Actually, I was just casually agreeing to it, but Ningxi will not suit our show's female lead, no matter what. The smaller artistes accompanying Liang Biqin on the side instantly started to echo. How shameless that she tried to get close just by looking at how big the budget and the drama crew is without reflecting on how she looks. She thinks that just because she's pretty, she can accept any show? Exactly, she looks so gaudy. If she dressed as a man, how weird would that be? She is only suitable for the role of the vixen. The director held Liang Biqin's hand and touched it meaningfully while smiling. Biqin still fits what I want best. Rumors had it that Su Yimo was the woman of the CEO of Lu Group, so he naturally dared not touch her. But this little cousin of hers, if things were mutually consensual, he could mess around with her a little. When Liang Biqin received the director's hint, she was naturally happy to be associated with a big director like him, so she laughed. And I thank the director for his love. Su Yimo was happy to watch the two of them flirt. Director Zheng was a reputable director, and if Liang Biqin could hook up with him, she would definitely benefit in the future. She had spent so much effort to help Liang Biqin because her kind of shows was different from hers, so there would not be a conflict of interest. At the same time, she needed a strong assistant. In fact, for occasions like these that needed accompanying and courtesy, she could comfortably leave it all to her. Read latest chapters at n/velbi.co/m. In the apartment. So far, this show already has $60 million in investment. For an idol drama to have $60 million in investment is quite rare in the industry. The drama team also invited many big shots within the industry. Even someone who carried soya sauce in the scene is an A-lister cameo. That means so many people are just there to match one female lead. With such a lineup, the competition would obviously be intense. One would not get the part just for acting skills and suitability. Based on your current work experience, I'm afraid that you are slightly lacking. Sis Gigi, I understand. Even though Ningxi was reluctant, she could not deny that she was a rookie who had only acted as a supporting actress. It was tough for her to get the female lead role for her second drama, especially with such a strong lineup and so much money invested in it. Modern dramas were different from ancient day dramas. Based on the current market, $60 million in investment was already very shocking. Liang Biqin's recently released movie and drama had pretty good feedback. In fact, she was the female lead in both of them, plus she was already an A-lister. Besides, she had Su Yimo's strong support, so it was entirely logical for the directing team to decide on her. Ningxi and Ling Zhiji discussed this for quite a while before coming up with a conclusion. Since the contract had already been signed and it was already spilled milk, there was definitely no use crying over it. As they spoke, Ningxi noticed something. Oh, no! She seemed to have forgotten something. She had forgotten the devil. Ugh, I've got a stomach ache. Sis Gigi, let me run to the toilet for a bit. Wait for me for a while. As Ningxi ran towards the bathroom, she also picked up some junk food, a bottle of mineral water, and a book when Ling Zhiji was not noticing. When she entered the bathroom, Ningxi immediately pulled open the shower curtain. Lu Tingxiao sat in the tub hugging his knees. When he saw her appear, he revealed a sad expression as if he was a king being imprisoned by an evil witch. Oh, dear! Ningxi tossed all the food, water, and the book into the tub, then put a leg into the tub to move into the devil's embrace, looking to please him. It's my fault! My fault! We'll finish talking really soon. You eat some things and read first. Just wait for me a while more, okay? Lu Tingxiao then asked, How long more? Ningxi pondered. 10, no, 5 minutes. I'll be very quick. Then, because she was afraid Ling Zhizhi would be anxiously waiting, she quickly got up and prepared to leave. Because the tub was too slippery, she lost her footing and fell into Lu Tingxiao's arms again. Io! Lu Tingxiao, what's that's so hard on you? Lu Tingxiao grunted from her weight falling onto him and then stopped her hand that kept feeling around. He then said through gritted teeth, what do you think? It can't be, still in an upward position since just now, can it? Lu Tingxiao's gaze was like the lava from an apocalyptic volcano, staring at her with heated eyes. The answer was already very obvious. You're different. You're special. Wait for me, I'll come back to help you. Obviously, this brat did not realize what these words that she had simply thrown out had meant to him. Simply put, the effect those words had on him was the same as a strong Viagra. So, the entire she had been talking to Ling Zhizhi outside, his body had been boiling and fired up. Ningxi looked guilty, then she quickly escaped the tub before the devil went crazy. She ran towards the door as she whispered, be good, wait for me. Those last 3 words she actually directed towards the area 3 inches below Lu Tingxiao's belly button. She returned to the living room. Ningxi felt like she was over the audition she missed out on, so she just said to Ling Zhizhi, Sis Zhizhi, it's okay. I didn't think this through. I liked the script too much initially and wanted to fight for it. Of course, I also prepared for everything. Since this turned out this way, I will just choose another script. It's not that big of a deal. The entertainment industry was such, not everything would be smooth sailing, and Ningxi had very quickly regained her spirits. When Ling Zhizhi saw that she was not too affected, she instantly breathed a sigh of relief. Also, you don't have to rush now. You have just finished this tiring period of promotions. Rest well for the next few days before you take on another show. I will arrange some variety shows and interviews for you. Here are some details, see if anything sparks your interest. Okay, thank you, Sis Zhizhi. After they bade farewell and just as she was prepared to send Ling Zhizhi away, her guest suddenly stood up and said, Ningxi, I'd like to borrow your toilet for a while. Ningxi immediately shouted, you can't. Why not? Ling Zhizhi asked curiously. UpTed chapters nnvelben.com. Ningxi quickly thought an answer and explained, I just realized the toilet is blocked. Then, I'll go downstairs to use the public toilet. Okay. She finally sent Ling Zhizhi away safely. Ningxi was about to collapse in exhaustion. Breaking promises did come with a price to pay. She had really given her all to this relationship. Yet, her ordeal had not yet ended. There was still a whiny devil that needed her coaxing. I'm back. Ningxi quickly hopped into the bathroom and pulled open the shower curtain. Big boss. Quickly get out. Sis Zhizhi is gone. Then, she scratched her head and asked, or do you want to stay here? Lu Tingxiao's answer was the hurl of his long arm, immediately pulling her into the tub by her waist and trapping her in his embrace. In an oddly coarse voice, he managed to say, here. Oh, okay. Ningxi had been feeling all right just now, but she was a little nervous now, unsure of where to put her hands. Boss, can you wait for me a while? Lu Tingxiao stayed silent. She looked into Lu Tingxiao's fiery eyes. I just wanted to check on how this works. How embarrassing. She acted like she was a know-it-all just now. She intended to get away with it now, but her mind went blank. She needed to be recharged. The next moment, there was a metal clanking sound. It was the sound of Lu Tingxiao's metal belt as he was taking it off. In that narrow space, it worked as a catalyst, warning her of what was about to unfold. Lu Tingxiao felt like he would never let her go. He pressed her hand on his bulge, his sweat becoming hot on Ningxi's tender fingers. The heat coming from him could almost melt her skin, and his voice sounded deeper than usual. "You don't have to check, I'll teach you." With her palms directly touching his manhood, Ningxi felt like her hands were on fire. In the end, she was rooted to the spot and barely made any movement of her own will, the devil initiating the whole process by moving her hands in the way he had so longed for them to. After some time, T/his chapter is up.d by NVEL, bin.co/m. Lu Tingxiao used a hot towel and carefully wiped the girl's hands. "Are you all right?" Ningxi found her tongue and said in a troubled voice, "My hands are tired." Her legs were already injured and now her hands were almost out of commission as well. Well, she did offer to help. She had underestimated the devil's power. How naive of her! She was suddenly afraid of what would happen when she actually got round to doing it. "I'm sorry." Lu Tingxiao kissed her forehead gently. He looked lazily at her like a beast that had just finished his delicious meal. Despite his outward coldness, there was a slight sense of sensuality about him, and he was much more seductive than usual. Ningxi was dumbfounded. Damn! The devil was just too beautiful. This was the upgraded version of him. She suddenly felt that it might not have been so bad to sacrifice a hand for this after all. It would be a pleasure for anyone to die in the arms of such a beauty. Lu Tingxiao held Ningxi in his arms and moved her to the bed as he lay down right next to her and spoke to her, not letting go of her. "Why did Ling Zhizhi come?" Ningxi's expression darkened a little. "It was some bad news for me but might be good to you. Do you remember the script that I liked a lot and spent quite some time to convince you to let me cast in?" "I remember." "I didn't get it. You didn't want me to act in it, did you?" Lu Tingxiao nodded slightly. Good news indeed. There were too many dangerous scenes in the script. Although stunt doubles could be used, Ningxi was sure to volunteer to perform them personally. Ningxi glared at the man. She felt that the devil must really possess magical powers. She remembered Lu Tingxiao telling her, "You've only convinced me now. If you failed the audition, I won't help you, understood?" What happened was way worse. She did not even get to audition. Looking at the disappointment on her face, Lu Tingxiao ran his fingers through her hair, reassuring her, "You'll find something better." Ningxi took his words as just an obligatory comfort. She still felt regretful not being able to participate in the audition. Actually, even if she was given the chance to audition, she might fail if they prepared an action scene. With the current leg injury, she would not pass for sure. Too bad for her. She hoped that the devil's words would come true and that she could find something better. Sensing her unhappiness, Lu Tingxiao said in a gentle tone, "I'll take you out on a date tomorrow." Ningxi's eyes twinkled brightly. "Really? What are we doing? Horse riding, skiing, parachuting, or shooting practice?" Lu Tingxiao stared at her quietly. "Looking at sceneries." Ningxi went silent. Sceneries, Ningxi's face was full of dread. "Okay, as long as I'm together with you, boss, it'll be fun even if we're just watching TV together." Ningxi optimistically went along. She was lucky she even got a chance to go out. "Okay, rest earlier. I'll come and get you tomorrow morning." "All right, good night." On the way back, while Lu Tingxiao was driving, his phone rang. Lu Tingxiao saw Mo Lingtian's name flash on the screen. He put on his Bluetooth earphone and picked up the phone. Hello. An excited voice came through. Lu Tingxiao, we're having a singles party tomorrow. Only close friends are invited. Want to join us? Lu Tingxiao replied without even considering, no. Xiao just came back. Just take this as a welcome party for her, and Mo Lingtian persuaded. Next time. This week was critical for him. He could not waste his time on meaningless things. And Mo Lingtian did not give up his persistence. There's going to be a lot of pretty ladies here. There are some that look similar to that she chick. Some are even prettier than her. You don't have to just stick to one tree. Just change your target. No. And Mo Lingtian was frustrated. You're really not coming. I've told them that you'd come. What have you been doing at home all day? Don't tell me you need to work. There isn't much going on in your company lately. After Mo Lingtian finished his rant, Lu Tingxiao replied, your theme doesn't suit me. What do you mean? The theme doesn't suit you? Mo Lingtian was confused. I'm not single. Mo Lingtian was speechless. After a brief moment of silence, a thunderous roar came through the phone. What? Lu Tingxiao! You found yourself a girlfriend without telling me? So much for being friends. You traitor! Mo Lingtian wished he could burn Lu Tingxiao alive right then. It had only been a few months since he heard Lu Tingxiao had someone he liked, and even then, he already felt he was hallucinating. Now, the unthinkable had happened. Lu Tingxiao personally told him that he got a girlfriend. Full 0W current novels on n/o/v/3l/b in.co/m. The legendary single man Lu Tingxiao left the rank of the singles. Mo Lingtian was at a loss. Mo Lingtian spoke hurtfully, you have to come tomorrow. Bring her over. And you can introduce her to everyone. I can't possibly be the only one stung by this news. Obviously, the last sentence was the main point. I'm not available tomorrow. Don't lie to me. What are you going to do? I'll be out dating. Mo Lingtian had no words. The next morning, Lu Tingxiao went over to fetch Ningxi. Seeing the girl standing by the entrance, his expressionless face became warmer. Ningxi usually wore casual outfits and sometimes even manly outfits. However, today she wore a fluffy pink dress with a thick, white down hooded jacket. Her slightly wavy hair had been straightened and she wore the pink heart-shaped crystal hairpin little treasure had given her. She even had a pair of pink boots with rabbit ears on her feet. In a nutshell, she looked exactly like an obedient little bunny. Because this outfit contrasted greatly with her personality, Lu Tingxiao had no words to describe her. Ningxi hopped over and clung onto Lu Tingxiao's arm. Lu Tingxiao, do I look cute? Lu Tingxiao coughed lightly, his gaze focused on the girl's cherry pink lips. Cute indeed. Why did you suddenly dress this way? It's our first official date. Of course, I'm going to dress up. T from n0/v/lbn/co/m. She sure dressed up well. After they went down, Ching Feng opened the door, flabbergasted when he saw the little bunny beside Lu Tingxiao. What the heck? Was something wrong with the lady boss today? Her outfit was so cute. So cute and girlish. It was nothing like her at all. People who did not know her would definitely be charmed by her, but those who did would be shocked. Ching Feng was the latter. He calmed himself down and drove the car to Lu Tingxiao's private flying strip. Ningxi looked at the helicopter in front of them in amazement. We're taking a flight? Where are we going? You'll see soon. Lu Tingxiao carefully helped her up the helicopter. After 20 minutes, they landed on an open grass area. A private car welcomed them as they touched down. The drive was very luxurious and comfortable, the sceneries along the way soothing to sight. On the journey, Ningxi saw the facilities here. There was a golf course, a horse paddock, hot springs, a shooting range, and even a ski track. She loved everything here. Lu Tingxiao saw her face sticking to the window in excitement, and he gently put her head on his shoulder. Ningxi pulled on his sleeve and looked up at him with sparkly eyes. Boss, it looks really fun here. Are we really only here for the scenery? Lu Tingxiao, did you hear that? What? The sound of my heart breaking. Lu Tingxiao was speechless. Seeing the girl's disappointment, Lu Tingxiao sighed to the driver, "Go to the horse paddock." Ningxi was brimming with excitement. Horse riding. She loved horse riding. After arriving, Ningxi looked at the stables excitedly. She wanted to get on the wildest horse. There was already a group of people at the stables, and the owner was helping them to select their horses to ride. Suddenly, one of the good-looking guys from the group stared in their direction. Wow! Lu Tingxiao! As he saw the man and the bunch of people, Lu Tingxiao was put in an awkward position. He did not expect Mo Lingtian to organize their gathering here of all places. What? Mo Lingtian, who did you just mention? Lu Tingxiao? Where is he? Isn't he not coming today? Ah. It really is Lu Tingxiao. Mo Lingtian's yell was followed by the gaze of the bunch of people, all turning to look at Lu Tingxiao and Ningxi. Then, they saw the cool and composed Lu Tingxiao in his black suit with a girl in a fluffy pink dress. What was that? What was happening? The girl was clinging onto Lu Tingxiao's arms like a little bunny. Everyone was dumbfounded by what they saw. Ningxi was confused by the sudden attention from so many people. She blinked her eyes and pulled herself even closer into the devil's arms. Lu Tingxiao ran his fingers through the girl's hair. Mo Lingtian's mouth twitched, then he turned around and told his friends, "Didn't you guys ask me why Lu Tingxiao wasn't coming today? Here we have it, this is the reason. The bastard betrayed us. He has a girlfriend." What? What did you just said, Mo Lingtian? Lu Tingxiao has a girlfriend? How is this possible? Are you sure she's not his sister or something? Sister? I don't ever recall my cousin having a sister. A girl quickly went up to Lu Tingxiao, studying Ningxi carefully. Cousin, this is your future cousin-in-law, Lu Tingxiao casually announced. He then introduced the girl to Ningxi. "This is my cousin, Lu Xinyan." Hello! Ningxi greeted. However, Lu Xinyan did not seem very friendly, so Ningxi did not bother to be very welcoming either. Lu Xinyan stammered in surprise, My future cousin-in-law? She's really your girlfriend? Upstarted T from N0/V/LB/co/M. Why would he have some weak girlish bunny as his girlfriend? She could not understand Lu Tingxiao's taste. How could he actually like this kind of woman? At that moment, a girl came up behind Lu Xinyan. She was dressed in a black riding suit with a whip on her hips. With a pair of sleek boots, her cool outlook matched the fine black horse right beside her. She stood in front of Lu Tingxiao and Ningxi, staring at Ningxi, then looking at Lu Tingxiao. Long time no see, Tingxiao. Ningxi stared back at this woman, her tingling sixth sense instantly ringing warning bells in her head that this woman was bad news. Lu Tingxiao had no change in expression as he replied calmly, "Welcome back." The woman looked at Ningxi with a pressuring gaze. "Why don't you introduce us?" My girlfriend, Ningxi. He looked at Ningxi and inclined his head slightly. Guan Xiao. Only a name, no other introduction. Ningxi put up on an innocent expression and greeted Guan Xiao. Hello. She just stuck to Lu Tingxiao and spoke as little as possible. Together with her dressing, her personality had also totally changed into a little bunny. Although Lu Tingxiao knew the girl's obedience was part of her act, his heart melted and his gaze at her was much more gentle than usual. After they heard the confirmation from Lu Tingxiao, everyone was surprised. That was really Lu Tingxiao's girlfriend. This man who sought no worldly desire, they had been discussing what kind of woman would be able to steal his heart. Up.dfrm no/v/e/lb/i/n.co/m. A gentle one or a gorgeous one? A generous one or a romantic one? Or maybe a strong businesswoman similar to himself? They had thought of countless possibilities, but they did not expect Lu Tingxiao to fall in love with a little bunny. This fluffy cute little thing just stuck right beside Lu Tingxiao. They totally did not make a fitting match at all. But upon closer inspection, they noticed that when the girl was beside Lu Tingxiao, his cold aura was much warmer. When he looked at the girl, it was as if spring had arrived. What a miracle! I actually lived long enough to see the woman who got her hands on Lu Tingxiao. This lady is pretty unique. You're right, I really can't believe that Lu Tingxiao likes this type. This is so frustrating. I thought Lu Tingxiao would like someone who's on the same channel with him, or at least someone who's mature. I've always tried to act cool in front of him. And he likes some weak little bunny. This doesn't make sense. What is Lu Tingxiao thinking? They don't look good together at all. It's obvious that she only knows how to act cute. Nonsense. Lu Tingxiao is not a normal man. Ignoring the discussions, Mo Lingtian went up to the both of them with a stormy expression. Damn it! I thought you said that you weren't coming. This was an accident. Mo Lingtian's mouth twitched again. What a coincidence! Fate brought them together. I've always thought that no matter who betrays me, you'd be the last to do so. Lu Tingxiao, you've really disappointed me. Mo Lingtian said in a hurt tone. Ningxi was speechless. Was he cursing Lu Tingxiao to be single forever? But for Lu Tingxiao to be the first among them to have a girlfriend must be really shocking to them. Since you're here already, let's have fun together. Mo Lingtian invited gleefully. Guan Xiao went along as well. It's been some time since we rode. Want to race? Yes, take up the challenge. Mo Lingtian encouraged him. Lu Tingxiao glanced at the girl in his arms. You guys have fun. She can't ride alone. Mo Lingtian was annoyed. You'd better stop mocking us single people now. Guan Xiao's expression froze and she glared at the ignorant Ningxi. Ningxi was crying inside. How could she not ride alone? The devil was just worried that she would go wild and he was going to supervise her personally. After Lu Tingxiao greeted his friends, he brought Ningxi to select a horse of her choice. The owner was surprised that Lu Tingxiao would bring his girlfriend over. He quickly led them to the few superior horses he had. Mr. Lu, what do you think of this one? A purebred just imported from the British Royal Horse Barn, the owner introduced his favorites to them passionately. Wow! So cool! Ningxi's eyes were glued to the midnight black dark horse. Purebred horses from the United Kingdom were well known for their speed in short to medium-length races. One of the horses in the stable was internationally recognized for its speed. The one introduced by the owner was the best of the best, nearly at competition level and even better than the one Guan Xiao had selected. Lu Tingxiao stayed silent while looking around. The owner asked Ning Shi, "Do you like it, Ms. Ning?" Ning Shi nodded in enthusiasm. "Yes, yes. Lu Tingxiao, let's get this one. It must feel great riding it." She could not wait anymore. In the end, Lu Tingxiao set his eyes on a brown horse. "Get that horse over here." That one. "Mr. Lu, are you sure?" The owner looked uncertainly at the brown horse, which was much shorter than others. The owner brought it over. Lu Tingxiao patted its head as the horse gently rubbed his hand. Lu Tingxiao nodded confidently. "We'll take this one." Ning Shi was dumbfounded. "Lu Tingxiao, isn't this an American pony?" Lu Tingxiao glanced at her and shrugged. "Why? What's wrong?" Ning Shi was on the verge of crying. Of course, there would be a problem. American ponies were exclusively for children. Somewhere nearby, Guan Xiao and Emo Lingtian were racing, and as they saw Lu Tingxiao leading a little pony, Emo Lingtian accidentally fell off from his horse. "Ha ha ha ha, Lu Tingxiao. What horse did you pick? This is too hilarious." Emo Lingtian had to stop the competition, holding one hand up as he just lay on the ground, laughing non-stop. Guan Xiao stopped and turned around on her tall purebred. Looking at Emo Lingtian's mocking and Guan Xiao's tall horse, she lowered her gaze to her short pony and almost cried. This was too much. Lu Tingxiao's heart softened when he saw the girl's upset face, and he pinched the area between his eyebrows. He went up to her and held her hand, walking towards Emo Lingtian's cool, dark purebred. After he helped Ning Shi up, Lu Tingxiao joined her, hugging her from behind. "Happy now?" Her wish granted, Ning Shi patted the horse's head. She was cheered up a lot, and she turned around to kiss Lu Tingxiao. Guan Xiao did not look very happy seeing both of them acting this way. Emo Lingtian was practically blinded by their public display of affection. "Darn it, I have never expected Lu Tingxiao would act like this with a girl." Guan Xiao said coldly, "She isn't worthy of Lu Tingxiao." Explore new ovals on nvelbai.com. Emo Lingtian coughed lightly. While that might be true, love isn't about being worthy or not, is it? Although he had only met her a few times, he knew that she was not just a simple little bunny. "Keep going!" Guan Xiao whipped the backside of Emo Lingtian's horse. After a lap, Guan Xiao won by reaching the finishing line first. Emo Lingtian looked dejected. "Hey, can't you cut me some slack?" Get latest oval chapters on nvelbj/n.c/m. Lu Xinyan welcomed her, looking at Guan Xiao admirably. "Sis Xiao, you're amazing. How do you know so many things, and how do you do better than most people? Even better than the men. The only extraordinary person I know aside from my cousin is you." Lu Xinyan then glanced distastefully at Ning Shi, who was in Lu Tingxiao's arms. She wrinkled her nose, comparing the scene in front of her to a high-grade cabbage being hogged by a pig. "You should be the perfect partner for my cousin. I wonder if he's blind. I never thought he'd be as shallow as the other men. How could he be tricked by a woman like this?" Guan Xiao stayed silent after she heard Lu Xinyan's words, her expression turning frosty. The people around started whispering, apparently agreeing with Lu Xinyan's words. Lu Xinyan was Lu Tingxiao's cousin, so she could say all she wanted, but the others could only agree in silence without voicing their opinions. The woman that Lu Tingxiao liked was terribly disappointing. If he were to select a woman that was worthy of him, the woman would definitely be Guan Xiao. Guan Xiao was childhood friends with Lu Tingxiao and Emo Lingtian. They had grown up together and their family were friends with each other. She was someone of Lu Tingxiao's caliber and many young talented men were fond of her. However, she was only friendly towards Lu Tingxiao and Mo Lingtian. Her personality matched with that of Lu Tingxiao's. They were the proud perfectionists of their league. When everyone thought she was going to be together with Lu Tingxiao, the unexpected had happened. Her family business had a change in direction, leading to them all migrating overseas 7 years ago. After impressing everyone with her abilities and beauty, she just vanished. Over these years, the Guan family's business got bigger and better, and it was not unusual to hear about the legend of Guan Ziyao. With a master's degree in business and administration at such a young age, her abilities were on par with Lu Tingxiao's. Due to her parents' old age and them pining for their home, they decided to move back, so naturally, Guan Ziyao followed. Everyone thought that with Guan Ziyao's return, Lu Tingxiao would be together with her soon. Both of them were single and were at the ripe age of marriage. Not to mention, their personalities matched and they looked good together. Some people even thought that Lu Tingxiao had stayed single just to wait for Guan Ziyao's return. Who would have expected this plot twist? A little bun had snatched Lu Tingxiao away. Everyone's jaws dropped. Their relationship was such a sudden joke. What was more surprising was that according to Mo Lingtian, she seemed to be a small celebrity. After they were done writing, Lu Tingxiao helped Ningxi get down. He did not let her walk. Instead, he held her in his arms until they reached the resting area to avoid her from falling when walking in the soft snow. Why can't you let her walk? You're pampering her too much. Lu Xinyan complained. Lu Tingxiao carefully put Ningxi on a chair, then poured a glass of hot milk and blew over it to cool it down slightly before extending it to her. Be careful, it's hot. Lu Xinyan's expression darkened. Everyone else averted their gazes and coughed lightly. What a rare sight! Lu Tingxiao had always been known for being cold and heartless, but that was only because he had not met anyone who could melt his heart before. Their curiosity was piqued. What power did this little bunny possess that could have charmed Lu Tingxiao to this extent? Ningxi realized that everyone was staring at her. She also felt a particularly cold gaze on her. Ningxi glanced at Guan Ziyao, then she asked Lu Tingxiao with her index finger to her chin in contemplation, "What's your relationship to Guan Ziyao?" "Our family was close when we were little. We sort of grew up together," Lu Tingxiao answered honestly without hiding anything. Ningxi purposely drawled, "Oh, so the both of you are childhood friends?" Lu Tingxiao nodded. "I guess." Ningxi pouted in anger. "Hey, Lu Tingxiao! I'm being jealous right now, can't you tell? Why aren't you saying anything else?" Lu Tingxiao was surprised. "You're jealous?" "Of course. Your friends and your little cousin, they all think that Guan Ziyao is a better match for you. They feel that you're like an exotic flower being paired with bullshit like me." Ningxi grumbled. UpTed chapters nnvelben.com. She had forgotten, but now she remembered who exactly Guan Ziyao was. The Guans and the Lus were considered prestigious families in Imperial, but due to some issues with their business, the Guans had to focus on the overseas market. Nevertheless, their development was growing steadily. Every rumor about Guan Ziyao revolved around her beauty and talents. All her ratings were extremely positive. She did match Lu Tingxiao well. Lu Tingxiao was taken in by Ningxi's jealousy and he looked her in the eye with an amused expression. "How could you say that? To me, you're the sea, you're the forest." Ningxi tilted her head sideways in confusion. "Why?" Lu Tingxiao looked at her like she was the star in the skies. He told her quietly, "I love you, like how the fish loves the sea, like how the birds love the forest. There's no use escaping, it's unavoidable." At that moment, an impressive display of fireworks went off in Ningxi's mind. His flirtatious words were simply tugging on her heartstrings. Suddenly, there was a loud crash as Guan Xiao's teacup fell on the floor. Lu Xinyan quickly asked, "What's wrong, Sis Xiao?" Guan Xiao's face went pale and she shook her head. "It's nothing." The others could not hear what Lu Tingxiao and Ningxi were saying at that distance. But she could read lips and she had been looking at them. Like how the fish loves the sea, like how the birds love the forest. Lu Tingxiao had actually said such lines to a woman. Mo Lingtian did not realize what had happened, so he went up to Lu Tingxiao and Ningxi after some rest. "Hey, Lu Tingxiao, we are about to go to the shooting range. Are you joining us?" "Shooting! Guns! Guns!" Ningxi's eyes were shining like a 500-watt light bulb. She could not ride because her leg was injured. But for shooting, she only needed her hands. "All right, I know. I shouldn't have asked you." Mo Lingtian turned to Ningxi to ask, "Little bunny, do you want to go?" Ningxi nodded her head like a woodpecker making a hole in a tree as she pulled on Lu Tingxiao's sleeves. "My dear master, may I please go?" "Yes." After they reached there, Ningxi was surprised. She did not expect the shooting range to be that big. It was about 1,500 square feet and there were 2 standard multi-purpose shooting ranges, each of them equipped with 9 professionally designed targets. Plus, their collection of guns was incredibly complete. There was even a weapon exhibition on display with a myriad of handguns, rifles, machine guns, and more. Some soldiers also went there often for target practice. Ningxi was just looking everywhere but in front of her. Had it not been for Lu Tingxiao leading her, she would have already crashed into a pole. Lu Tingxiao's cousin was right when she said he pampered Ningxi too much. She always left her brain at home whenever she went out with Lu Tingxiao. In fact, she would just follow Lu Tingxiao's every step. As they reached the shooting range, Mo Lingtian picked out a gun of his choice, intent on revenge. "Xiao, let's do another round of contest again. I lost at horse riding but I'll get back at you in shooting." "Count me in." "Me too." Mo Lingtian's bunch of friends were balanced in terms of gender. While the guys had a strong interest in firearms, the girls were not completely clueless about them either. There were only 2 of them who were asking around for advice on which gun to choose. They soon finished selecting their guns, then they put on their protective glasses and earmuffs, ready to start shooting. Bang bang bang! Shots were fired and each of their scores appeared on the tally counter. The maximum points one could achieve was 10 points and the counter would calculate up to 1 decimal place. Most people get around 8 points while the experienced guys got about 9. Discover W stories on no/e/lbin.com. Lu Xinyan got a 9.2 and she was really happy. "I actually got above 9. How lucky!" As she turned around, she gaped at Mo Lingtian's and Guan Xiao's scores. They both got the same score of 9.9 points. What a remarkable achievement! Wow! Bro Tian, Sis Xiao, you both are so good at this. Finally, the scores for their set of 3 attempts were out. Mo Lingtian came in at 9.9, 9.7, and 9.8 while Guan Xiao got 2 9.9s and 1 9.7. She had beaten Mo Lingtian by a mere 0.1 point difference. Of course, Guan Xiao's score was the highest among everyone's. Some of them were thoroughly impressed. As expected of her. Marvelous. Xiao, you're really making us men feel ashamed. Mo Lingtian complained, damn. I lost again. This doesn't count, let's do it again. Everyone was laughing, ha ha ha. Mo Lingtian, stop struggling. Among us probably only Lu Tingxiao has a chance at beating Xiao. Mo Lingtian turned to Lu Tingxiao and exclaimed, Lu Tingxiao. What are you doing? Join us. But the bunny ears on Ningxi's boots fell off, so Lu Tingxiao squatted down on the floor and helped to fix them for her. Mo Lingtian's mouth twitched as he saw this lovey-dovey scene. Ningxi heard them inviting Lu Tingxiao, so she looked at him in surprise. Boss, are you good at shooting? Come, let's see who's better. She then grabbed Lu Tingxiao excitedly. Hey, little bunny, you know how to shoot too? Mo Lingtian asked in surprise. Ningxi answered him boldly, of course. I'm good at it. Bang! She took aim and shot the target board. After a moment, the counter displayed her score, 6.3 points. How great! Looking at the horrible score, Ningxi was stunned. My outfit must have affected my performance today. Discover W stories on no/e/lbin.com. Mo Lingtian laughed, then comforted her, that's pretty good, at least you hit the target. Lu Tingxiao patted her head and tried his hand at shooting as well, scoring 6.2 points. Just slightly lower than Ningxi's. Mo Lingtian patted Lu Tingxiao's shoulder and sighed, brother. I'm impressed. This is probably the toughest score you've hit in your lifetime. Lu Tingxiao got a 6.2, which was even more surprising than a 10-pointer. Ningxi ignored Mo Lingtian's teasing as she happily went up to Lu Tingxiao to gush, boss, you're so sharp. As Lu Tingxiao was about to say something, his phone rang. It was a call from home. Any sign of expression was wiped off his face as he turned to Ningxi. You can play on your own first, I'll go and pick up a call. He then signaled to Mo Lingtian, asking him to take care of Ningxi. Mo Lingtian gave him a shooing gesture. Just go and pick up your phone call quickly. Go! The moment Lu Tingxiao left, the people who were wary of him suddenly spoke in much louder voices. That's hilarious! Even the girl who didn't know anything within our group got a 7 and Lu Tingxiao's girl dares to claim that she's good at it? Lu Xinyan said scornfully. Another girl shrugged. Maybe it's already good enough for her. At least she hit the target. I'm quite surprised that she didn't miss. Why would Lu Tingxiao be with such a useless woman? I'm really curious. Someone go and ask him. I'm not going to. I'm just being polite because of Lu Tingxiao, but I refuse to be friendly with her. Ningxi calmly wiped her gun while listening to their discussion. These people were from the wealthy circle of Imperial. They were either the heirs of a wealthy organization or the prince or princesses of some high-ranking government officials. They were just being fairly nice to Ningxi because of Lu Tingxiao. At that moment, someone told Guan Xiao, Xiao, you and Mo Lingtian are closer to Bro Xiao. Why don't you try to talk to him and tell him not to be fooled by a woman like her? He will eventually find out himself, Guan Xiao replied. That'd be too late. The moment he finds out, he would have been deceived. As Lu Xinyan listened to them, her face turned bright red. She felt embarrassed and could not accept the fact that her perfect cousin was being fooled by this woman. Boiling with anger, Lu Xinyan could not hold it in anymore. She walked up to Ningxi and demanded, I don't care what did you do to be with my cousin. Tell me what it takes in order for you to leave him. Mo Lingtian quickly stood in between them and tried to defuse the situation. Hey, what are you doing? We're here to have some fun. Stop making a fuss. I'm not making a fuss. Seriously, how is this woman worthy of my cousin? As Mo Lingtian was trying to convince Lu Xinyan to calm down, Ningxi curled her fingers around the gun in her hand and blinked innocently. Leaving your cousin? It's easy. You just have to defeat me. You, what did you say? Defeat you? Lu Xinyan was stunned by the proposal. She did not understand what Ningxi meant. Mo Lingtian was surprised as well. Ningxi blinked her eyes again as if she could not fathom why they did not understand her. Shooting! I realized that you guys don't really like me here. So, let's do it this way. If anyone can beat me in shooting, I'll break up with Lu Tingxiao. But if I win, please be friendlier the next time you see me. So, all of them wanted to save Lu Tingxiao from her. All right. Ningxi would give them a chance. Everyone was dumbfounded by Ningxi's suggestion. What did this woman just say? Was she out of her mind? It was such a difficult feat to get together with Lu Tingxiao, and she had done something no woman in Imperial had, but her impulsiveness made her bet her relationship with Lu Tingxiao. They thought a celebrity like her would be considerate and good at reading others, so she would not go looking for trouble if she could actually think. But this woman was crazy. How stupid! And how sad for Lu Tingxiao. No one expected things would develop into such a situation. It almost drove Mo Lingtian mad. Little bunny, what are you doing? Just wait until Lu Tingxiao comes back and everything will be fine. Why are you doing this? Do you really want to break up with Lu Tingxiao? Are you crazy? While the others may not have known, only Mo Lingtian understood how serious Lu Tingxiao was about this girl. He was really into her. Although he did not understand what was so special about her, he had no comments about his brother's choice. Lu Xinyan digested Ningxi's words as she chewed on her lower lip. Although slightly unbelievable, this woman was this stupid all along. She had initially thought that getting rid of her would be troublesome, but was it really as easy as this? Are you for real? Lu Xinyan confirmed her doubts with her. Yes. Ningxi nodded. Okay, then we're set. I've recorded down what you said just now, so there's no going back on your word. Lu Xinyan was satisfied now. Let's get started. Ningxi stopped her. Wait. Why? Regretting already? Lu Xinyan glowered. I'm just trying to reiterate what I said. I said as long as anyone here beats me, so you have to select someone to compete with me. Ningxi said. Fine, I'll do it. Lu Xinyan did not take her seriously at all. For a newbie who got a score of 6.3 points, she would be more than easy to beat. Consider it well. I'd suggest you find the best among your group to compete with me. If not, don't complain that I wasn't being fair. Explore Tati stories at no/l/bin.cm. Everyone was speechless by Ningxi's words. Where did her sky-high confidence come from? Lu Xinyan was huffing impatiently, but as she was about to insist on her participation, Guan Xiao came over and tapped her shoulder. Xinyan, let me do it. Lu Xinyan looked at Guan Xiao and frowned a little. Sis Xiao, she's not worthy of being your opponent. Guan Xiao replied, just being cautious. Lu Xinyan thought about it. It was such a high chance of beating her, but it would be best to reduce any chances of an accident, so Guan Xiao was the best candidate. Sis Xiao was the person that was worthy of punishing this idiot woman. Mo Lingtian was anxious since he promised Lu Tingxiao to look after Ningxi. He thought that Lu Tingxiao was just being paranoid, but who'd expect that something like this would happen in just a few minutes of his absence? No. This is nonsense. Mo Lingtian quickly tried to stop them. Guan Xiao glared at him. Lingtian, don't interfere. How can I not interfere? Xiao, she was just messing around. Don't do this. Mo Lingtian tried to convince her. Ningxi pouted and grumbled, "I'm not messing around. I'm serious about this." At that moment, Mo Lingtian wanted to shoot himself in the head. Damn it! Just let me die. He had tried so hard to help her, yet she was making things worse. This woman that Lu Tingxiao liked, apparently, no one could fathom her logic and common sense. Bro Tian, you can see for yourself. She suggested it and no one's messing around. It's between us women, don't you interfere. Lu Xinyan was afraid that Mo Lingtian would ruin this chance, so she quickly pushed him aside. Apart from the worried Mo Lingtian, everyone else was excited about what was about to happen. However, it did not seem very interesting since the results were predictable. I don't think this woman would be this stupid. Could she just be acting? Someone mumbled on the side. She? Acting? Even if her shot just now was a mistake, she could not be all that great. She's not competing against Lu Xinyan now. It's Guan Ziyao. It probably wasn't even her full power when she was competing against Mo Lingtian just now. That's true, then this would probably end up really terribly. You first. Ningxi said. Guan Xiao did not say anything and just put on her protective glasses and earmuffs. She held up her gun and aimed at the target. Her pose was clean and sharp. She obviously had many years of experience. Lu Xinyan glanced at Ningxi. Sis Xiao has been training target shooting for about 10 years. You'll never be able to beat her. All the best, Sis Xiao. Guan Xiao closed her eyes and took a deep breath, trying to focus. Even though Ningxi looked weak, this was about Lu Tingxiao and so, she would not allow any mistakes to happen. Everyone stayed still, their breath bated, and even Lu Xinyan quieted down as well. Ningxi slumped on the table and yawned. After a moment, Guan Xiao opened her eyes. Bang! 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 3 shots were fired consecutively. Discover new chapters at novelby.co. Everyone quickly went over and checked Guan Xiao's score. Everyone was stunned. First shot, 9.9 points. Second shot, 10 points. Third shot, 10 points. 1 9.9 and 2 full scores. Amazing! This was practically professional skills. Oh my god! Sis Xiao, you're the best. Terrific! You're my idol. Lu Xinyan gushed excitedly. Mo Lingtian was stunned. Damn it! Guan Xiao, you monster. Do you really have to do this? She had achieved such high scores just to fend Ningxi off. If his memory served him well, it was her first time getting such high scores. Mo Lingtian's expression darkened as he thought about it while intensely looking at the woman with the gun in her hands. Although everyone loved to put Guan Xiao and Lu Tingxiao as a couple together, he knew both of them well and he understood that they were just friends. But he was not sure now after Guan Xiao had returned. The way Guan Xiao was behaving seemed to be pointing towards what everyone suggested. Xiao, you're the best. How did you do that? Amazing! Everyone was impressed by her marksmanship. They then looked at Ningxi expectantly and waited for her to embarrass herself. Just how was she going to handle this? Lu Xinyan went up to her like a triumphant rooster, even puffing her chest slightly. Look at that, 1 9.9 and 2 10-pointers. What more do you have to say? Ningxi glanced at her and shrugged. I have nothing to say. Humph, good. Remember what you said. You're going to break up with my cousin. There are plenty of witnesses here. Lu Xinyan was not afraid of her going back on her words. She believed that this woman would not be so shameless. If she were to break her promise, she would never be respected in Lu Tingxiao's circle of friends ever again. Mo Lingtian feebly spoke, "It's just a game, don't take it so seriously. You can't just decide for Lu Tingxiao this way." Lu Xinyan stomped her feet angrily and demanded, "Bro Tian, what's wrong with you? Why do you keep defending this woman?" Guanxiao also frowned and looked at Mo Lingtian unhappily. Mo Lingtian clenched his teeth and went up to Ningxi to plead, "Quickly tell everyone that you're just joking. Do you really plan to break up with Lu Tingxiao?" Ningxi grumbled, "Of course not." Mo Lingtian would have yelled at her if she was not Lu Tingxiao's girlfriend. Instead, he suppressed his anger and ground his teeth. "Then, what are you doing? Why didn't you listen to me just now? What are you going to do now? Hey, don't you dare break your promise right now. I'll never forgive you. A shameless woman who goes back on her words is never worthy of becoming my cousin-in-law." Mo Lingtian was trying to come up with a plan to salvage the situation, but Lu Xinyan would not stop pestering Ningxi. The situation was chaotic. Suddenly, everyone went silent. Lu Tingxiao was back. As soon as Lu Xinyan saw Lu Tingxiao, she quickly went up to him and tattled on Ningxi, "Cousin. This woman made a bet with us just now. If we beat her at shooting, then she'll break up with you. She already lost to Sis Xiao. She actually used you as her betting chip. How hideous!" Explore Tati stories at no/l/bin.cm. What? Lu Tingxiao froze when he heard what Lu Xinyan said. Crap! Why was the devil always there when she was misbehaving? Ningxi was troubled. Just a moment ago, she was still relaxed. As if trying to get it over and done with, she quickly stood up and shot the target without even looking at it. Bang! 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 She then tossed away the gun and went to Lu Tingxiao, blinking and softening her features. "I'd never lose you." The counter rang. The scores were presented. 10 points. 10 points. 10 points. The girl was looking at him in the eye nervously. "Lu Tingxiao, am I not great? Praise me." Lu Tingxiao's expression was as dark as a thundercloud. He had just stepped away for a little while and she already stirred up trouble. Now, she was asking for praises? You're the best," Lu Tingxiao replied. He simply could not resist those eyes of hers. Looking at both Ningxi and Guanxiao's score, Lu Tingxiao pinched the area between his eyebrows. Just how courageous was this girl? Even with her personality like this, she was still as charming as ever. His heart could not take the moment when she went up to him and told him, "I'd never lose you." He was bound to be with her forever. For entertainment's sake, the counter at the shooting range had special settings. If someone got 10 points consecutively, it would play a celebratory tune and there would be an announcement of the targets that earned a perfect score. As soon as Ningxi finished her set, there was a loud upbeat tune and the announcement of her perfect streak. All the other customers including Lu Xinyan, Mo Lingtian, and Guanxiao were stunned. The shooting range was set up professionally. In addition to using real guns and bullets, most guests were either really passionate about guns or even professionals, and it was extremely rare for someone to get a perfect score. Ningxi's streak had caused quite a commotion. Guanxiao's high score was already amazing enough, but all of them froze when they saw Ningxi's score. Mo Lingtian could not believe it. What? Are you kidding me? Guanxiao looked lost, unable to accept the result. Lu Xinyan held the counter for a closer look. How is this possible? Does the counter have a problem? It must have an issue. Where's the manager? Please check this machine. Ningxi rolled her eyes at her dramatics as she picked up the gun and released another 3 shots. Another celebratory tune was played, followed by the perfect streak announcement. Second shooting range, 9th target, perfect score. Everyone was speechless. The first time her streak was announced, everyone was impressed, but they were shocked when they heard it for the second time. What the heck? What was happening? Was this for real? It was difficult enough for professionals to get a perfect score consecutively. A large crowd started gathering around to see who was this immaculate marksman. Hey, are you guys here to see who is it from the announcement? Yeah. That's amazing. Could it be from some special operations team? I have no idea. The 9th target, there's just a lady in pink shirt holding a gun now. Could the person who achieved the perfect score have left? Your favorite ovals at n/vl/bin.com. As everyone was making wild guesses, an old man in his 50s dressed in a casual outfit passed by with a young soldier beside him. Ask around who the shooter was, the man ordered the young soldier, his eyes looking sharply everywhere like a hawk. Yes, Chief. Another triple 10 points. Mo Lingtian gulped anxiously. The little bunny he was looking at suddenly became a monster in his eyes. As he was trying to make sense of what had just happened, he heard someone calling him. Master Mo, Master Mo. Mo Lingtian turned around, surprised to see a young soldier in his uniform. Aren't you the security for Uncle Zhuang, Xiaochen? Yes, that's me. Xiaochen nodded. What's up? Mo Lingtian asked. I have something to ask. Master Mo, were you here since just now? Xiaochen asked. Yeep, I was. Great. Do you know who got that perfect streak on the 9th target? Xiaochen queried. Mo Lingtian raised his eyebrows. So, he was here to ask about this. Of course I do. It's that girl. Mo Lingtian told him, vaguely nodding his head in a direction. A girl? Xiaochen was taken aback. Mo Lingtian nodded. Yeah. He was already surprised by the fact that it was a girl. What would happen if he knew exactly which girl? Who is it? The lady in black? Xiaochen looked around and asked about Guanziao. Mo Lingtian smirked. You're wrong. It's the one in the pink dress, white fluffy coat, and the bunny ear boots. Pink dress, white fluffy coat, bunny ear boots. Xiaochen set his sights on a girl beside a large-set, tall man, then he looked at Mo Lingtian and chuckled. Don't lie to me, Master Mo. The chief ordered me to look for the person. Don't joke around with me. Who's joking? Mo Lingtian stopped. Your chief is here today? Yes, he's here with a few friends, but when he heard the announcement, he left them and came straight here. It's been a while since I've seen him this excited, Xiaochen said. Mo Lingtian swiveled around and as expected, he saw a well-built man among the crowd. Who is it? Tell me, please. Is it the man beside the girl in the pink dress? That looks like the CEO of Lu Corporation, Lu Tingxiao. Xiaochen said. Mo Lingtian gave him a mysterious smile. Didn't I tell you? It's that little bunny. He patted Xiaochen on the shoulder. I'll go over and greet your chief. Xiaochen stood there without a word, staring at the cute, young girl in disbelief. How was that possible? If that little bunny could get 6 10-point shots consecutively, then he could have joined the SWAT team. Mo Lingtian went up to the chief and greeted him warmly. Long time no see, Uncle Zhuang. Oh, Lingtian, are you here with friends? Full 0W current novels on n/o/v/3l/b in .co/m. Yeah. Uncle Zhuang. I heard from Xiaochen that you're looking for someone? MMM. The chief nodded. Do you know the person? Of course. Mo Lingtian then pointed at Ningxi. It's the lady beside Lu Tingxiao. Can you see her? I told Xiaochen, but he didn't believe me, so I'm here to tell you personally. That girl? The chief asked thoughtfully, then said, How old is she? What does she do? Is she still in school? What does her family do? Mo Lingtian's mouth twitched at his questions. Cough, Uncle Zhuang, what are you trying to do, huh? Even though you have a son, isn't he only 18 years old? Isn't it too early to look for a daughter-in-law now? Most importantly, this girl is already taken. She's Lu Tingxiao's girlfriend. Lu Tingxiao has a girlfriend? The man asked with a serious expression, hiding his thoughts. Yeah, they just started dating not too long ago, answered Mo Lingtian truthfully as he nodded. The man revealed a thoughtful expression and then said, Lingtian, help me ask that girl if she is interested to enlist. Mo Lingtian almost spat at this proposition. Turns out he was thinking of such an idea. But this idea was even more impossible. Mo Lingtian immediately said, Uncle Zhuang, I suggest you forget it. Lu Tingxiao pampers her like a treasure. He even carried her in fear that she got tired of walking, and he even accompanied her to ride a horse in case she fell off. When he went off for a phone call, he even needed to make sure I took care of her well. To let her enlist is impossible. In fact, she looks much younger because of her dressing today. She has actually already graduated from university and is currently a professional actress. So, the possibility of enlisting is basically zero. The chief looked regretful when he heard this. That's such a pity. Mo Lingtian was sweating profusely. Before this, he had heard his father talking about how Zhuang Liaoyuan would not let go of talents with excellent marksmanship. It seemed like this was true. He even wanted to cross Lu Tingxiao's boundaries. While Mo Lingtian was conversing with Zhuang Liaoyuan, Ningxi picked up the gun once again. Zhuang Lingyuan instantly focused his gaze on the girl. Bam! 6 points. Bam! 3 points. Bam! 3 points. Bam! 2 points. Mo Lingtian's eyeballs were about to fall off as he watched Ningxi hit all those crazy targets. That's not right. Uncle Zhuang, I'm not lying to you, those 6 perfect scores in a row previously were shot by her. Maybe she's not consistent in execution? Before this, she also scored a 6-pointer. My God! Was this brat messing with him? What was with these shots? He was about to get a heart attack. Full 0W current novels on n/o/v/3l/b in .co/m. Zhuang Liaoyuan seemed not to notice at all. His eyes followed Ningxi's aim, one shot after another, then they started to widen. After the last shot, Zhuang Liaoyuan could not help but laugh gleefully. How interesting! This little girl is really interesting. Mo Lingtian was confused. Huh? What was so interesting? Why couldn't he see it? After the little bun was done with shooting, she shyly walked towards Lu Tingxiao's side and tried to please him by signing a heart with her hands. She then said to Lu Tingxiao, I know my mistake now. Saranghiao, big boss. My God! It's a heart! Those who were watching Ningxi shoot gasped when they saw her target sheet from earlier. Mo Lingtian looked at the target sheet too and instantly shouted, My God! The bullets Ningxi had shot earlier had really created traces of a heart shape. My lord! How was this a little bunny? This was practically a witch. No wonder Lu Tingxiao had been charmed silly by her. Zhuang Liaoyuan looked at the target sheet and looked wistful. This girl is interesting indeed. Back in the day, this was the trick I used to court my wife too. Pfft. Mo Lingtian looked shocked. I wouldn't have known. Uncle Zhuang, were you so skilled at picking up girls back then? Of course. Zhuang Liaoyuan's solemn face revealed a barely noticeable delight. He was old now, so he had to be serious and lead the talents, thus he always had an expression of old-fashioned rigor. When he was younger, he had been very romantic. Liang Tian, help me introduce us. I want to get to know this child, Zhuang Liaoyuan suddenly said. Okay. Uncle Zhuang, follow me. Crap, had he not given up? Never mind, I shall let Lu Tingxiao resolve this by himself. Mo Lingtian could not reject him, so he led Zhuang Liaoyuan towards Lu Tingxiao and Ningxi. When he saw the man beside Mo Lingtian, Lu Tingxiao's eyes dimmed. Mr. Zhuang. Lu Xianji, your father, is he healthy and well? Thank you for your concern, all is well with father. Good, good, good. Probably because military men were more impatient, Zhuang Liaoyuan had barely made a few sentences of small talk before he eagerly turned his gaze towards Ningxi beside Lu Tingxiao. Little girl, those 6 perfect shots in a row earlier, were they all by you? When he noticed her timidness, Zhuang Liaoyuan, who was usually cold and serious, had softened his tone unusually and even bent slightly to make his figure not so intimidating. Ningxi subconsciously looked at Lu Tingxiao before nodding. Even though the man who spoke to her had worn a casual outfit and his attitude was very friendly, that cold-blooded aura that belonged to military veterans could not be disguised. In fact, he was obviously someone of high position. Ningxi was inevitably much more careful. She watched her words and waited to see what his intentions were. Nice, 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 little girl, you're quite amazing. How many years have you trained for? Zhuang Liaoyuan continued to ask. I haven't really trained. When I want to, I'll play around, answered Ningxi honestly. Follow you stories at n/velb/in.com. Zhuang Liaoyuan was stunned for a while, the light in his eyes shining brighter. Then, little girl, you have talent. Do you like shooting? Ningxi nodded earnestly. I do. Then, do you want to shoot every day? Zhuang Liaoyuan's voice was even gentler now. Xiaochen was speechless as he watched the usually fearsome chief try to coax this girl. The chief had really given his all to pull and talents. Lu Tingxiao took notice of Zhuang Liaoyuan's intentions and pulled Ningxi into his embrace before reminding in a deep voice, Mr. Zhuang. This was when Zhuang Liaoyuan cleared his throat and straightened up. He then gave Ningxi his name card. Little girl, next time if you want to shoot, you can look for me. This shooting range is not suitable for you. You need something more professional. More professional? Ningxi peeked at the black name card in her fingers, then tried to test him. Is it the northern shooting range? Zhuang Liaoyuan nodded. Yes, the very one. Ningxi instantly glowed. That was the most professional shooting range and it was a national-level range. In fact, ordinary civilians would have no access to it. I hope that we will have a chance to meet again, Zhuang Liaoyuan said his final words before leaving with regret written all over his face. After the man left, Ningxi looked at the name card that only had a name and hand phone number printed on it. She asked, Zhuang Liaoyuan, who is this man? Zhuang Liaoyuan, who is this man? Why did this name sound a little familiar? You remember Zhuang Qier, one of your rivals? That's her father. Now, you know, Emma Ling Tian said. She had heard that the Zhuang family wanted to matchmake Zhuang Qi with Lu Tingxiao, but there was obviously no chance of that now. Who knew that they would unexpectedly bump into Zhuang Liaoyuan here today? And Zhuang Liaoyuan had almost poached Lu Tingxiao's treasure away. However, there was a benefit out of this. Now that Zhuang Liaoyuan knew Lu Tingxiao had a girlfriend, he probably would not think about matchmaking them again. What? Zhuang Liaoyuan? That legendary major general? I heard that he was the Special Task Force's head sniper when he was younger. His father, Zhuang Zhongren's marksmanship was extraordinary as well. Their family has quite a few sharpshooters. Yeah. Sadly, Zhuang Liaoyuan's own sons and daughters never joined the army. This is probably one of his life's biggest regrets. Especially the son. As Imperial's infamous rich playboy, he already started to stir up trouble at such a young age. The Zhuang family has such good genes. How did that punk's genes suddenly change? As she listened to the discussion around her, Ningxi finally knew who the chief was. Zhuang Qi's father, Zhuang Liaoyuan. Technically, he was her uncle by blood. This was such a coincidence. Outside the shooting range, Zhuang Liaoyuan hopped on a militant SUV and looked somewhat absent-minded. A moment later, he said to the guard beside him, "Xiaochen, help me investigate that girl's background." Xiaochen nodded, "Yes, chief." Zhuang Liaoyuan looked out of the car window as the scenery passed by in a whirl, sighing in sorrow. The Zhuang family had enlisted in the army for several generations until the generation after his. His daughter, Zhuang Qi, was not interested in weaponry or the army at all. She had been raised by her mother to be a lady. His son, Zhuang Rongguang, was an even more useless child he wished he had not had. Ariad updated stirise at n/vel/bin.com. Now that he had met a girl who had such an unexpected talent in shooting, he felt both emotional and envious. He wondered who her parents could be. In the shooting range, Ningxi was still staring at the name card when it was whooshed out of her hands unexpectedly. Lu Tingxiao had taken it away. Ningxi instantly puffed up her cheeks and looked up at him. "Lu Tingxiao, why did you take my name card? You don't need this. If you want to go, I'll bring you," Lu Tingxiao said with a poker face. Ningxi naturally knew what he was thinking and she could not help but laugh. "Don't worry. My biggest hobbies in this lifetime is acting and you. I won't hook up with some army general. How could I bear to leave you?" The devil indicated his satisfaction towards Ningxi's reply. Lu Xinyan felt angry as she watched the two of them acting so lovey-dovey. Ningxi had even unexpectedly been favored by Zhuang Liaoyuan. "Bro, even if she won this time, it is a fact that she used you as a bet. This woman does not respect you at all. She doesn't even care about you. Bro, haven't you ever thought what would happen if she lost?" Lu Tingxiao shot her a cold look then said stonily, "I will go back to her myself." Lu Xinyan's expression was gloomy and Mo Ling Tian almost fell over. His answer was too savage. Guan Xiao, who was watching from the sidelines, bit her lip. Lu Tingxiao had already lost all his principles with this woman. Ningxi, on the other hand, was so touched that she felt tears well up in her eyes. Even if she lost him, he would come back to her himself. The devil was just too sweet. For the devil, she would be obedient from now on. No more nonsense. Lu Xinyan was still annoyed and he turned speechless when Lu Tingxiao's gaze turned extremely cold to look towards him to say, "If the way I introduced her to you before was not clear enough, then let me repeat myself. She is your cousin's-in-law. Watch your attitude." Before this, he had introduced her as future cousin-in-law. Now, she was simply introduced as cousin-in-law. He was actually implying that he would definitely marry this woman. It was to warn Lu Xinyan and everyone else not to mess with her. After Lu Tingxiao said this, he led Ningxi away. Behind them, Lu Xinyan's face paled. Her cousin was for real. Was he just messing around? Was he actually prepared to marry this woman? This time, because Ningxi had revealed her earth-shattering marksmanship earlier, everyone's attitude magically changed. Indeed, we shouldn't have doubted Master Xiao. This girl really did amaze us all with a single brilliant feat. No wonder she could charm the socks off Lu Tingxiao. Exactly, that marksmanship, wow, amazing. I remember very clearly that the first time, she did not wear any ear muffs or eye goggles. She did not even look at the target. The second time, she also did not aim at all. She simply fired 3 shots, and that last pickup move of a heart shape on the target was even more extraordinary. At last, even Major General Zhuang was shocked. Is that woman really just a normal C-list actress? Who knows? What's the big deal? Even though she is not entirely useless, she only has one such skill. Lu Xinyan mumbled as she clung onto Guan Xiao's arm. Sis Xiao, don't stoop to the levels of those people. It's just a little trick to fool everyone. Guan Xiao's expression was heavy in thought. It seemed like she had underestimated that woman. Most up-to-date NVELs are published on n0velgn.co/m. However, her face soon returned to her usual arrogance and indifferent expression. This time, she had only made a mistake because of her underestimation. After Lu Tingxiao left, Mo Lingtian observed Guan Xiao's expression quietly. Her gaze kept changing. Finally, he pulled her to a corner. What's up? Guan Xiao asked with a frown. Mo Lingtian put a hand on his hip while the other held his forehead. He circled several rounds on the same spot, then said with an irritable expression, I should be the one asking you this. What's up with you? The way you're acting today is so weird. What are your intentions? What do you think my intentions are? Could you be interested in Lu Tingxiao? Mo Lingtian involuntarily tightened his hand into a fist. Didn't you only treat him as a good brother all this while? That was because the timing was not right before this. So you're saying you really like Lu Tingxiao? Mo Lingtian's expression instantly changed and his tone turned serious. But he already has a girlfriend now, so what do you want to do? Do you want to be a third party in this? She's just a girlfriend. I have the right to a fair competition. You're crazy. Mo Lingtian suddenly felt like he had never really known the person in front of him. Guan Xiao was firm with her stand. I'm just taking back what was originally mine. For as long as she could remember, there was only one person in her eyes. And that was Lu Tingxiao. They had the same IQ, the same interests and hobbies, the same family background, all of these made them exceptionally compatible. That was why she was not rushed at all. She had always thought they had such great chemistry that they were destined to be together. So, even though she had left for many years, she never doubted this one bit. Only she never would have thought. The moment she returned, what was originally determined by fate up till then had unexpectedly changed. However, it did not matter. She would reverse this unexpected change. After they left the shooting range, Lu Tingxiao brought Ningxi to an open space covered in white snow. After being disturbed for so long, they could finally return to their cocoon of 2. Not far away, there was a small house with a glass dome, and behind that house was a forest of pine trees. Beside the house was a little road with an adorable Alaskan Malamute dragging a sleigh along it. Ningxi marveled at the scene in front of her after they got down from the car. Wow, it's so pretty here. Almost like a fairy tale world. I'll bring you to a real fairy tale-like world when we get a chance. The resort here was just an imitation of the igloos in Finland. It had started to snow, so Lu Tingxiao used a thick blanket to wrap her up, then carried her and walked towards the small house. After he opened the door, Lu Tingxiao put her down carefully. The house was covered in a huge and warm white velvet rug, and opposite it was a lit fireplace, radiating warm air. On top of the rug opposite the fireplace was a coffee table with hot and tasty food, such as crab salad with peanut dressing, banana lemon tarts, Mexican cheese pancakes, camembert cheese, roast beef with pear reduction, Vietnamese rice paper salmon rolls. Every inch of the table was filled up. Ningxi was starving after an entire day of fun. Just as her appetite was being whet by the incredibly delicious aroma, Lu Tingxiao suddenly whipped out a bouquet of red roses in a vintage brown lambskin wrap to give to her. "For you." Ningxi blinked and accepted it, feeling very flattered. She leaned in to smell it and was met with a cool, crisp fragrance. It was as if the bouquet of roses had just been cut from its branch. The petals still had trembling dewdrops on it, and they looked full of passion and life. Ningxi randomly thought of the meaning behind red roses. I think red roses represents passionately in love. Lu Tingxiao quietly watched the girl who hugged the bouquet of roses to her chest, her face even more charming than the flowers. "Do you like it?" Ningxi nodded and subconsciously looked up at the glass dome above her. It was warm inside, yet they could watch the blizzard of snow outside. "I like it, it's so romantic. Why is everything so grand today?" She was a little dumbfounded. "Today is the 5th day of our relationship," answered Lu Tingxiao. Time really flew by. In a blink of an eye, it was already only 2 days away from a week's time. Find new stories on NOV/ELBin.com. What about the 5th day? Is there some special meaning? Ningxi did not really understand the devil's thought process. Didn't people usually commemorate 100 days, 1 year, 3 years, and so on? What did the 5th day mean? Lu Tingxiao replied, "To me, every day of knowing you is special." Ningxi was speechless. "Okay, my king. You win this time." All the good food the devil had prepared was lip-smackingly good. Ningxi touched her round tummy consciously. She had shamelessly ate a lot. After eating, Ningxi hugged the blanket by the fireplace while lazily snuggling up in Lu Tingxiao's embrace. As she recalled the things that happened earlier that day, she could not help but exclaim, "Lu Tingxiao, I suddenly realized I have many romantic rivals. Zhuang Qi just left and now there was another, Guan Ziyao." Lu Tingxiao looked at her plainly and said, "More rivals than I do?" These 3 words, how ruthless of him. What? Nonsense. How do you have many romantic rivals? Ningxi vehemently denied. "Do you want me to count them out for you?" The scariest thing was that he not only had to be wary of men, he had to be wary of women too. Cough, no need for that. Okay. She would not dare to complain that she had many romantic rivals anymore. Well, that's all for this part. See you all truckers in next video.